Welcome, everybody, to a Delco Nerd Network podcast. I'm your host, Anthony Ragucci, and here with a few friends from the Delaware County area, we get in a basement and we talk about a certain topic. Today's topic, of course, it's June, so it's going to be Summer Game Fest 2024. Here to discuss, as always, the well-dressed Chris Trio.
Huge thank you. As you can see, I am dressed for the occasion today for Summer Games Fest. I meant to bring my sun hat as well, but I will admit that I.
You think you would have done a?
I would have worn it on the intro.
I tried to do a podcast with glasses, like sunglasses.
Oh.
It's tough.
Well, yeah, I'm not surprised, especially if you're trying to read something. I can imagine.
You're like, dude, I can't see anything.
And you know me, I need honestly, I want to buy a pair of prescription sunglasses really bad because I probably shouldn't be driving without my glasses. But anyways, I'm excited to talk some Summer Games Fest. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, pretty meaty year. I gotta admit.
After Geoff also subsided expectations a little bit too, I'll give it to him. Because at the beginning wasn't he like, or there was an article I saw. And,
basically,
he
was saying it was like,
there's not one more thing,
right?
Yeah,
there's not going to be this big, huge announcement from him, and there definitely wasn't. But I feel like this is the first year where since COVID, things have kind of solidified. E3 is gone. Summer Game Fest is in. And now the companies sort of know what they're doing if they're doing things on their own or with partners or whatever. Right. And for the first time, I feel like it was like E3, but like the new E3.
Sure.
It felt very much put together.
I agree.
This time around. Even
more so than I was expecting, definitely. Because even I couldn't watch all of them live. I didn't watch most of them live, to be honest. But it definitely felt like the aura around this was more E3 like.
Right,
than
like
it had ever been
we're
before.
back. We figured it out.
Yeah.
We're moving forward.
Absolutely.
But before we get into it, you usually like to talk about what we're up to, what we're doing, things like that. We do have a slight update. I don't know. I think we did mention this that we were going to be on Too Many Games, or we're going to try to do Too Many Games. So we didn't get accepted to Too Many Games this year, so we won't be there in a podcast capacity. But I'm going to be there.
I'm going to be there Saturday too.
All 3 days, or at least part of all 3 days. But yeah, no podcast this year. But I think we're still planning on doing the topic as a summer, as maybe next month. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Absolutely.
I got a few little, I guess, life updates, but there are some games and movies I've seen. But why don't you go first?
Okay. So for me lately, it hasn't been a ton of stuff. I finished up Stellar Blade a while back. We obviously did the review on that, which you can check out. Really enjoyed that. After that, I actually dipped my toes, Gooch, into the Mad Max video game, Matthew Max, if you will.
We both did see Furiosa.
We did. You just saw it last night, right?
Yeah.
As of recording, I saw it like a couple of weeks ago. So fresh off that, I was like, man, I'm in the Mad Max mood. So I watched Fury Road, which is still amazing. And then I was like, what's up with the game? Because I remember starting it a long time ago and being like, this is kind of cool, but then never really continuing on with it for some reason.
I remember getting a middling reviews. This is good.
Yeah, it's fine.
This is a little bit better than we think. Apparently George Miller didn't think so and thought Kojima should have done it. But here nor there.
And I think that comes from someone who, and I don't mean this in a disrespectful way, that doesn't know much, I feel like, about video games and the process of them being made necessarily. And
probably.
I'm sure he had a terrible kind of time just trying to get that made and maybe working with WB in certain ways. And we talked about it before, at least maybe not on the podcast, but I mentioned it to you. He was in a protracted legal battle with them for a little bit.
Yeah, no, you told me at some point recently, because I think I mentioned, I'm like, why did it take so long for that to get made?
Yeah, it was like something over box office revenue that George Miller he sued sued WB because they apparently owed him some revenue from ticket sales, but then WB was trying to argue that they didn't owe him that for some reason.
Did he direct the first one?
What?
The first Mad Max.
Oh yeah, this is all his. Yeah, these are all his babies. Okay. There was another gentleman, if you will, I think, who died after the third one, who was a big part of it that kind of set him back. It took him away from making them for a while. Who was also a big part of it. I can't remember his name off the top of my head, but the game, man, it's really good. Some of the best car driving mechanics I've played since Grand Theft Auto 5 in a weird way.
Okay.
I'm surprised at how weighty and meaty the driving is in it. I mean, I guess I shouldn't be. That's the main way you get around in the game. I mean, there's a bit of Arkham-style combat in it, which I don't think works as well as the car stuff. The car combat's phenomenal. You can soup up, it's called your magnum opus, is your car, and
the car is called Magnum Opus.
And it's actually Chumbucket's in it, who is in Furiosa. It's that weird. I don't want to say weird. That little dwarf gentleman who gets shot in the tanker scene.
The Bobby knocker.
He's Chum. I'm pretty confident he's supposed to be Chumbucket. But he's like this guy. He's called a Black Hand, who is just a car mechanic, and he helps you outfit the Magnum Opus, and he's riding around with you in the car while you complete missions. But you can also steal cars from other factions in the game and bring them back to like your strongholds, scrap them, and also have them in your collection to use. There's like these different. There seems to be, I think, 3 or 4 strongholds that act as like your base camps in each different part of the map, and you have to like soup them up by finding different parts around the map to create like a gas can or a water catcher, things that basically when you then enter the stronghold, you'll have a full tank of gas, or your canteen will be filled up with water, or you'll be full up on ammo. But it's a lot more involved than I remember, and it's really good.
Is it canon?
No. So,
because I know
Max is interesting.
Scrotus the main villain?
Yes. So a lot of these this was apparently made using a lot of the scrapped ideas or unused ideas from
Fury
Road, and they were supposed to film Furiosa at the same time as Fury Road back then. That was the original plan.
Really?
Yeah. And they never got around to it, and then the legal stuff happened. So a lot of those ideas were put into this game. Yeah, the main bad guy's Scrotus, but I don't think he's Immortan Joe's son. And then the War Boys are in it, but they don't really mention Immortan Joe, but he's mentioned a lot in the codexes. Dementus is mentioned in the codexes as well, but he's called Dr. Dementus, which is interesting.
Are any of these characters? I know Immortan Joe is, right, in the original?
Yeah. Well, no. That actor is in the original, but the character is not.
Okay. Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
That. Yeah.
He passed away a little while ago. He's played by a different person in Furiosa, of course.
Right.
But excuse me. It's very good, and it's $5 right now on Xbox, and I think it was on PlayStation for a while. I think it still is. At least on Xbox, it definitely is. On PlayStation, it might be. I got it on PlayStation, but it's really fun, man. I gotta say, they have a bunch of different cosmetics for Max too, and the car. You can do like goggles, and the way it works is you have this scrap that you find around the map that you have to get so much to upgrade your car, and like you upgrade your fists and like your armor set, and you get different attack mechanics when you're doing like the Arkham style combat to like counter certain enemies, stuff like that. It's again a lot more involved and interesting than I really ever realized back in the day. So, I would definitely recommend playing that. It's a lot of fun, especially if you're feeling a bit of the Mad Max fever, as I was. Other than that, though, what
I was going to say, like, just to mention Furiosa really quick, since we're topical, it was pretty good. I'm looking forward to talking about it further.
I am too.
But I definitely don't think, I think it suffers from a sequel to, like, issue where it's like,
like a prequel issue.
It was cool in Fury Road, but I have already seen this recently, so it's kind of like.
I mean, that was 9 years ago.
It doesn't feel like it.
I know, right? It's
it doesn't
wild.
feel like it.
Like, that is wild.
Fury Road was like last year.
I know, it does feel like that.
But I feel like, it's kind of like, I'm not a Mad Max fan, but like watching Furiosa, I'm like, yeah, this is good, but like Fury Road was like much more impactful.
I think Fury Road was, and we'll talk about it, I don't want to get into it all now. Fury Road's much more kinetic. I mean, you never stop moving. But I do enjoy a lot of the world building in Furiosa. But we can get to that in the actual review. Other than that, Gooch, you chuckled at me a bit in the Discord the other night. I've been playing Ghost Recon Future Soldier.
What the fuck?
So
that game sucks.
It really doesn't. It's so cool. I forgot how cool it is, especially the campaign.
Are you using the Kinect features with that?
Oh my god, I forgot about that.
Yeah, a big
totally
the gunsmith or whatever. You like pull
very
it
cool.
apart.
Very cool.
Yeah.
Again, stuff I gotta say, like going back, I'm like, this is cool. The campaign is, that classic kind of tactical stealth action style that really, I feel like was probably aped off of Splinter Cell, if not, were coincided with it. I like there's like a team, directing mechanic. It's very weird. In that game, you play as not the leader of Ghost Squad, but you're commanding Ghost Squad the whole time. So that's kind of the only disconnect of it. But I forgot how much fun those games are, and it plays incredibly well. And it's just been fun to go through like a third-person action like shooter campaign for a bit that I haven't played in a long time, and that's a game I really don't have a lot of recollection of. It gets pretty samey as you go throughout because you're kind of clearing areas, stealth killing them, or you use your drone to kind of go through and mark people, and then you can what's the word? Everyone shoots at the same time. It's a sync shot,
right?
And then you get ratings on different things. I think the idea there, it's so funny, like seeing how that's blossomed into like, well, there was the Ghost Recon Badlands or Wildlands and stuff, and
whatever it is now.
Which one that just got canceled too.
Yeah, like it's a far cry from the Grawl days with Ghost Recon Advanced Warfighter, when it was like, even like Rainbow Six Vegas, like this like very tactical,
which I guess
third person shooter. Like Rainbow Six has changed a lot. I mean, Siege seems to be this like that game is still going.
Yeah. It has a big fan base.
Wild.
It is interesting to me. They haven't made a mainline Rainbow Six game since that one, right? I don't think so. Which, I mean, dude,
Siege? No.
Yeah, Vegas. Oh, those are some of my favorites.
Rainbow Six Extraction.
Oh, right.
Wasn't that in the Rainbow Six game? That extraction shooter that did not do well.
But yeah, I've actually been really enjoying it for just something to kind of go back through and just kind of make my way through, trip down memory lane, a game I don't remember that much of. Other than that, I've been really trying to pick away at System Shock again. It's a tough game, man. And I gotta say, because like Colin's been talking about it a lot on Sacred Symbols, so that's been kind of getting me thinking about it again. And I do want to beat it, but it is really a tough game in the way of like there is, and we talked about this before, there's no direction at all. You're kind of finding these notes throughout the environment, piecing together what happened with Shodan, how you got to this point. I mean, you start out the game where, do you know the basics of it all?
I've listened to Colin talk about it, but you lose your memory, right?
Yeah, you lose your, I know you lose your memory of like the past, like couple, like the recent future, or like the recent past, I should say.
Yeah, and like you're in there to stop Shodan.
Yeah, because it starts out that he offers you a bunch of money to get he offers you this implant that you were, the guy that set you up, I can't remember his name. He's a guy who works at Tri-Optimum Corp, and he catches you trying to steal something from them. I think Eduardo something or other.
And he like kind of like,
and he's like, listen, he's like, I'll give you this implant and we'll install it for you so you don't have to install it in some back room, what's it, and we'll pay you. All you have to do is go in and shut down all of Shodan's like restrictive access thing, like basically the things that seem to keep her in line, or the AI in line, and then you wake up in the space station like seems like a week or two later, and shit has gone awry, and you're making your way through all these different levels of the space station. The overall art design is amazing. The game looks fantastic. There's a vibe to it.
I definitely want to play it,
and I think
it's something I got to get around to.
The port for the PlayStation stuff, I will say, I don't know. From what I'm gathering, I don't know why they took this long, because
it just came out on PlayStation. It's been on PC for a while,
and now. I think it's on Xbox too, for sure.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know that.
The controls, I don't know what took them so long in the way of like, I could have, for the last couple months, I can plug a controller in and just play it with a controller on my Steam account. And it's, it's not super optimized. You still have a lot of the menus that like you're using a cursor through, and you can it's made for a mouse and keyboard, But with the console version, it now has that same exact setup where you're still doing all that kind of crappy stuff.
A lot of menus still have that nowadays.
Yeah,
and Destiny's I think to blame for that.
For sure. But I do think, especially with this game, like just organizing and how you click off things, like you can't hotkey things apparently to certain things on your controller, so you're always going into a menu to like turn your shield on and off, and like things that are really intuitive on your mouse and keyboard that like, you can get a click, go back. But we're on a controller, it becomes encumbering. So I don't know why it took them so long to maybe port that to the console. And it was kind of like abrupt. They're like, oh, here it is. But it's really good in that respect. I think I might have to break down and watch a walkthrough to help me a little bit. Because I've just kind of gotten to the point where I'm just like, I don't know what I'm doing on this level. Like, I don't know how to progress any further. Because it's funny, the first two levels, medical and I think engineering, I feel like we're very straightforward, and I made my way through them, and you seem to have to take down all the CCTV cameras on the floor to downgrade the security, and then you have to find like I can't remember exactly what it's called, but it's like a core room or something of some kind where it has like all these modules in it that you have to destroy. That once you destroy all of that, I believe you gain access to Shodan's core. And I was on one level, I'm like, I just don't like I don't know what I'm doing.
Sometimes I feel like when I'm lost in games like that, like you're easy because you're disgruntled. You'll pick up your phone and you'll get even more lost. So sometimes
exactly.
This isn't a critique of you. Yeah. Sometimes you just gotta like put the phone away.
No,
and, like,
I completely agree with you.
And then you find it and you get past it and you're like, damn, that was
so simple. No, it's true.
Not even that simple, satisfying because you were at an obstacle. You got over the obstacle.
No, you're absolutely right. So I think that's what I do have to go through with. One thing that's weird, I tried hooking it up to my TV the other day. I hooked my laptop, and it wasn't breaking 30 frames on my on my TV screen.
Yeah, I don't know how that would work.
Yeah, I'm curious because like when I plug it into my other monitor with the same HDMI cord, it works fine, and I get 60 frames.
It's kind of so like your monitor resolution and your TV resolution are not nearly the same.
Right.
So it needs to output bigger. That might have something to do with it. Maybe I'm totally wrong on that.
Because obviously the consoles, it works fine. So
yeah, but TVs are much larger.
Right.
Like they're just much bigger resolutions because they're fucking big.
Absolutely. Yeah. No, that makes sense.
And consoles can do it, and if it was going to your PC. If it was going to your PC to a monitor, that's different. But the laptop has a screen, so I think it's already projecting like something smaller, bigger.
Interesting.
Does that make sense?
I think so. Okay, interesting. Yeah, I don't know. So, but I am trying to stick to it on my mouse and keyboard, anyways, because again, it is nice like when you get up to it.
So you are playing it on PC.
I am. Yeah.
Okay, you didn't get it on PlayStation.
Oh no, I didn't buy it again.
Okay,
yeah,
I thought you brought that up, and you may have.
No, I just noticed that it was out. Now, like, part of me was like,
right, because Colin's playing on PlayStation 5.
And I did see it got, like, it's funny. I think it got announced that it was coming to console, like, maybe a month after I bought it on PC.
Yeah, and I remember you going, like, dang.
God damn it. Yeah. So, I don't know. It definitely is more made for a PC play, so I think I'm good in that respect. But there is something weird, Gooch, with me, and, like, it's just not this... I don't want to say it's not the same.
I hear you, dude.
But it's just going on my computer compared to like sitting in front of my TV and just plugging my controller.
Trio, I 100% hear you.
Like I think it was even the same with Baldur's Gate a little bit too. Yeah,
that's why I don't play on PC. Yeah. It is different. Like I think multiplayer games, like it's good, but like the single player stuff, like it. Yeah, like I feel like especially with like streaming culture. Playing on like a couch and like a TV is such a out of fashion. I'm like, what the fuck happened? I
love it, man.
Why is everyone set up on like a desk with like
I don't know,
like a console?
It's
like
very odd.
when did that become like the main no.
Get out of here. Right. Give me my TV. Anyways, that's really mostly what I've been up to. I've still been playing Fallout 4 here and there, which I've been thoroughly enjoying, but there's really not much more to report there.
So, Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, Hellblade 2, Stellar Blade. Been playing them. Done. Well, Stellar Blade, I'm in my New Game Plus. And I'm just going for the New Game Plus trophies and the ending trophies, and that's about it. So I'll probably have that done. But go check out the reviews for those if you want fuller thoughts. But Trio, crispy fucking critters. I'm back in Atomic Hearts, baby. Or I should say. I returned to do the achievements, and when I got back into that game, man, I was like, what the fuck is this?
Where am I?
Like, how do I even play this game?
What's going on?
How do I dodge? How do I like put away my weapons? Like, it's so funny. Like, that control scheme is odd. But going back in, I didn't start New Game Plus immediately. Really just kind of going back and like tying up what trophy and achievements I could, which was like collectible stuff and just like killing people with this thing and like pretty easy stuff. But the main event of Atomic Heart was going back and talking to all the dead people and getting the chirpers, which required New Game Plus because majority of the missions are you can't go back.
You can't act. Yeah.
So I had to restart, and I almost thought I fucked it up, and I had to like restart. And I'm like, do not tell me I missed one or two of each, and I have to go back and fucking do this again. I was able to. So like Callisto Protocol, this game's achievements have been fucked since day one.
Interesting.
And they're really, really weird with popping. And remember I was talking to you about Callisto, about what I had to do to get the game to like sync and like pop the trophies. Atomic Heart had a similar thing.
Really?
Where like for the chirper, like so I got to the end, like before like you go the I don't remember, the lighthouse, and then you like go into the end game. Like after you leave you leave the open world, and I'm like, I'm missing like two of each. I'm like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. And this guide I was using, so I ended up finding a chirper. I wasn't in the guide. Got it done. The talking to the dead people. I ended up like this guide was like, okay, like go talk. There's 3 dead animals in the game that you can talk to. Everyone else is people, but there's 3 animals. Yeah, they're random. They're randomly like in the open world, so they're like kind of odd to find.
Yeah.
So you had to talk to them, quit out, go back in, and like, I think you had to like start a new game, exit out, and then load back in, and it popped. And I was like, what? Like who figured that out?
You achievement hunters are psychopaths.
Yeah.
I need this fucking achievement.
But it's so strange that like you have to do these things to like trigger. It's again, I think it's a contact with the server thing. It's like not registering, so like you have to do these weird things where you're sort of like starting over and then like reloading in, and then it somehow
but
like,
even
oh,
like
you got it.
Like, is it connecting to a server that like?
The game has to be, right?
But like achievements still pop if I'm like not connected to the internet though, right? Or do they only pop when I'm on the internet?
Actually, I think nowadays they don't. I think you have to be connected online.
Interesting. I'd be curious.
It's been like that for a while, I think. Since like Xbox One. I could be wrong. I'm never I'm like you know what?
I was gonna say, because that feels like something that would be like what
I don't know.
I'm gonna look it up right now, But
and I was telling you, so there's 2 of 4 DLCs out. One is called Annihilation Instinct, which is plays off the ending. So you know how you're like talking to the Granny Xena, if you remember her, and you like can either like go kill Sechenov or like fuck off and walk away.
Yeah.
That DLC takes place if you fucked off and walked away.
Oh,
The second DLC, Trapped in Limbo, plays off of if you didn't.
Oh,
so there's 2 more DLCs that come out. Both DLCs were pretty interesting. The Trapped in Limbo
because the glove ends up being the bad guy, right?
Yeah,
if I remember correctly. Yeah,
Zakharov.
Yeah.
So the Annihilation Instinct DLC is like it's more Atomic Heart. Like there's new weapons, there's new melee, there's new enemies. Like it was actually I'm like there's a new environment, new characters. I was kind of surprised about like how not asset reuse it was.
Oh yeah,
like there just seemed to be a lot of new stuff, and I was like, yeah, it was pretty good. It was like I think it's a cool idea to not play off of one of your endings, but both of them.
That does sound actually really interesting.
It's a pretty interesting premise for DLC. The Trapped in Limbo one is kind of weird because you're in limbo the whole time, so everything remember the cupcake,
right?
And like you're like jumping around, like it's all that. So it's like I'm like that's interesting. But again, the other 2 DLCs aren't out. Trapped in Limbo didn't have any achievements. Just Annihilation Instinct did. And yeah, I'm just curious if it's like 4 DLC for a game like that seems like a lot, right? You know?
Definitely.
Like for a game that
how large is that Limbo one though?
Not like a few hours.
Yeah, I don't know.
Maybe like
definitely. I feel like for maybe
4 to
back
6
in
hours?
2012, I would have been like, yeah, that sounds right. But like now, that does sound a bit chunky.
Yeah,
sure.
Yeah, it's a much different DLC age we live in.
I'm definitely gonna get around to those at some point for sure. I enjoy for all its jank. I really enjoy.
I do like Atomic Heart. There is something about it that I just was like, I like going back to it once I like got my bearings again.
Yeah,
I was like, yeah, this story was pretty cool, and it's like it doesn't really overstay its welcome either.
I don't think so either.
It's like it can be overwhelming, but like all the side stuff is like very simple and very quick. Like you're not like in depth with it all that much. You don't really need to do it if you don't want to. You can kind of just mainline it and be like pretty satisfied.
Totally agree.
I also jumped in another DLC, God of War Ragnarok's Valhalla DLC, the roguelike game mode. Didn't want this trio, but if I did want a DLC for Ragnarok, this is what I would have wanted story-wise.
I need to play it.
I think it kind of is like, hey, Kratos is in Valhalla. You progress and you die, you have to start over, just like like a roguelike. But like Kratos is kind of dealing with his demons from the original God of Wars. He's talking. Tyr's actually in it, the real Tyr,
right?
Which is cool. You get to interact with the actual Tyr. Mimir's talking to you a lot about.
You save him at the end of the game too, right? You can.
No, it's an optional thing. You can go find him in the jail.
That's right.
Yeah. So it's with him. You fight him at the end every time, and he uses he takes out like different weapons from like different like cultures. He's using like a katana one, and then he's using like like the Spartan's shield and spear. It's cool, and they bring in like Greek monsters too. There's Greek areas, and you have
cool.
like instead of Mimir, you have Helios. Helios is from one of the God of Wars. I've never played a lot of those.
I need to re-download this.
But they talk about certain things that Kratos did in those games, and like, hey, like, why did you do this? And it's like, like really brutal, and like he's kind of like basically like thinking back on like what he did in those games. And I'm like, this is really cool, because I think this could have been something that happened in the game, but probably not given as much as attention as it is now, because that's all they're talking about.
Right.
Yeah, and it's like, there's like, it is endgame DLC. Like, Freya is kind of coming to you, and like, remember how like she wants Kratos to join her little thing that she has going on, like the like a council, and like Kratos is a bit iffy, and like they talk about that. It's interesting for free DLC for a game. I think it is pretty packed.
Interesting
in terms of gameplay and story.
You're making me want to play it right now. I'm not gonna lie.
It's fun. I'm like almost done it. Like I got a few trophies left, and I think I'm like towards the end. You have to go through it like I think like 5 or 6 times.
Did
to
they
the end.
stealth drop it? Right? Wasn't that the thing? Right when it happened, like it was like during a showcase. They were like, "It's out now."
Game Awards.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
This past Game Awards.
I was trying to remember why I didn't get around to it. That's probably why. Just because like, oh, I'll get to it eventually.
Yeah, but I'm having a great time.
Great time.
I wouldn't say I'm a roguelike fan, but I am enjoying it.
Awesome.
Alan Wake 2 Night Springs DLC shadow dropped at the Summer Game Fest. We're going to talk about that, but I finished it. 3 episodes, one playing as Rose, the waitress girl, in like a fever dream thing. One you play as Jesse Faden in another fever dream thing.
Right.
But, they're pulling her in, which was cool from Control. And then the other one you play as Tim
Does
Breaker.
she have control powers?
No. No.
I guess can you only use that in the like
they're
the
building
house
up to something. I don't think so.
Interesting.
The
oldest house or whatever.
The security weapon.
Isn't it like
What's
I can't
her
remember what
gun
it's
has a
called.
name.
Yeah, it's like because it's supposed to be like all the different mythological weapons throughout history, right? Because they're like it was known as Mjolnir and stuff like.
It is?
I think so. There's like one of the like if I remember correctly. At the beginning, that when you find the actual gun or whatever, it's like it was known through with many names throughout history. Mjolnir, like the spear of light, like what's the one that pierced Jesus? Sorry, yeah, it's okay.
I know the answer.
Yeah,
Spear of Longinus.
That okay? Why does that not sound right either? But either way,
it is.
It
is
because is that what they're trying to find?
I'm fucking
anyways,
dying over here.
I'm sorry.
It's not your fault.
Yeah, so that sounds interesting to me. I would love to. Is it free? Or does it cost money?
No. Comes with the deluxe edition.
Oh, okay.
So that's kind of the only iffy part. If you didn't buy the deluxe edition, I don't necessarily think it's worth the time. I beat it in one sitting.
How much is it? If you buy it separate.
I think it's like a $20 upgrade. I don't know if you can. I think you have to get the deluxe edition.
Oh, I see.
I mean, which is essentially like the season pass.
Right.
But there is another DLC coming out. And that, I feel like it's going to tie in this Night Springs thing. Because it's kind of like 3 characters who like, I mean, besides Jesse Faden, we just know the Control stuff is involved. It seems like they're tying in like, and I don't think I finished it. Tim Breaker, who's played by Sean Ashmore. It's funny. They're like making a game. Like Sam Lake is like Sam Lake and Sean Ashmore is Sean Ashmore. Like Sam calls him Sean. And they're like making like a game, and like the game becomes like a reality, and they're talking about like multiverse and stuff. It's really cool, but I think they're really setting up something with that DLC, and that's going to be in the second DLC. And I guess hopefully we know Control 2 is happening. And I guess that, because I would assume that would happen before an Alan Wake 3.
That makes sense to me.
But I enjoyed my time with it. Pretty easy trophies or achievements. Yeah, I thought it was fun. It's more Alan Wake. I think if you're in on the story and you're drinking the Kool-Aid there, you're gonna have a good time.
Right.
Quickly, I jumped into Astrobot's Playroom. They're adding new trophies up to the launch of Astrobot, the game. So like there's just like new, like you have to like help like these little Astrobots that look like PlayStation characters, and like they're leading up to something with the new game. Anyway, quickly jumped into that just for the one. But then they're releasing like the other one in like a few weeks. It's interesting. Kingdom Come Deliverance. I played about 6 hours on Xbox. I'm really enjoying it. It's really cozy.
It is. I really
like it. Lockpicking is a bit of a bitch, and I don't think I'm the combat nailed down per se, but I'm getting there. I have all the DLC, so like when I got like done the prologue, we'll call it, like I went back to Skalitz to like bury my family, get fucked up, and now you like wake up in another town and Teresa like helps you, and then like you can kind of talk to her and you're like, oh, like what happened to you, and now you like play as her to see like what was going on with her, and I'm like,
oh, there's a part where you can play as her.
Yeah, so you're kind of like, I'm like, this is kind of cool. I'm like, I don't mind because it's kind of like tutorial again,
right?
And I'm like, I haven't learned everything yet, so I'm enjoying it again. Very quaint, very cozy. We're gonna talk about the second Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, I think is the full name of that game, but yeah, I wanted to get to this for a while. Sequel's coming out, good as time as any.
Absolutely, and the sequel looks great. So,
2 things I watched. Started Gen V. Pretty good. I got some issues with it, and I think I was thinking about this, and I'm like, I hate how it's like very like rich white people like culture with like, oh, like there's these high school kids doing cocaine. It's like, okay.
Sure, it's very very hyperbolistic college culture.
Right, like euphoria.
Partying.
Yeah, like very hyper, like, like I'm like, I don't know if high school kids would be like doing
Well, they're college kids.
Right, yeah, are they in college?
Yeah, they're in college.
Right, it's a university.
Yeah, it's a university.
Yeah. They feel like almost high school age.
Yeah.
Well,
no, you know what's funny? I didn't think that stuff. Honestly, for how wild I kind of expected it to go with that.
Yeah.
I actually think they were pretty tame throughout, but I get what you mean for sure.
Yeah, I like it. I was thinking, I'm like, what would have been like if this was like a high school kid getting his powers, and they were more normal. Like none of these kids seem like normal, in the terms of like their upbringings. But I'm liking it. It is just like a teenage the boys.
I think it starts to get much better when they get into like there's some really interesting
the
themes
stuff
underneath, and
like,
even just
I'm on episode 4. That's
even just that, but like also like you got to think they really kind of start to explore like how terrifying and terrible it is to discover some of these people's powers,
right?
Yeah, and I think
they had the scene where the 3 girls are like, well, one girl, 2 of them. Marie and the blonde one are like, like they something happened to the loved one when they found out their powers.
Yeah,
and then forget the one that changes genders.
Yeah,
I forget his or her name. Their name. Yeah, and they're like, yeah, no, I killed my grandma. Nah, just kidding. But yeah, like the Compound V thing is pretty interesting. But yeah, I'm just kind of like, where's this going? Like, how does it feed into the boys? Because I know it would have felt wrong to watch the boys without watching this.
I'm sure the first 15 minutes of the boys that I'm gonna watch tonight are gonna be like,
oh yeah,
hey, the Gen V. They're just gonna explain like the entire plot of Gen V because they keep saying, right, you don't need to watch Gen V to watch this. And I'm sure it's gonna help. I'm sure it will help, but I'm sure they're gonna, because even in have you watched some of the trailers for the boys yet? For the season?
I think so, yeah.
So there are
not enough that I could
definitely
regurgitate it to you.
Yeah, there are some spoilers in that for sure that they mention.
Then
that probably went right over your head.
Right, I wouldn't know.
There is the results of the first season of Gen V will definitely heavily impact season 4.
Yeah.
But I do think it's one of those things that they are going to be easily able to explain in the first 15 minutes of the first episode for people who haven't. But I'm glad you're watching it because it is. I think for a spin-off show, it's one of probably the better spin-off shows I think I've seen.
Yeah, I don't like how it feels like spin-off show, and it's like, let's call back to the Homelander and The Deep and Queen Maeve, and it feels like the Netflix Marvel call back to the big boy, but we're not doing it.
I will give them credit. Like, they hold. Like, they talk about them because they have to, and like they're the 7, you know what I mean? Homelander.
I mean, but just as Jessica Jones has to talk about the guy with the shield.
But again, I think the thing I can appreciate about Gen V though more, and that is so true, that like they can be like, no, home, like it is direct. It's not like the weird like Jessica Jones of
right.
like,
We don't have enough
what's
money.
going on?
Right,
Yeah, like
right,
there's no direct connection. Whereas like this is very much they're the same thing.
Similar vibe. I just was
sure.
like, I was just getting that like, it feels like a spin-off, but
Definitely.
that doesn't necessarily mean anything negative.
I hear what you mean.
Right.
I enjoyed it a lot. I'm glad you're like somewhat enjoying the first 2 episodes. I think you will like it even more as it goes on for sure. And I don't think that they do lean too heavily at all on the boys of it all, if that makes any sense.
Yes. It's very divorced from like that plot.
It is, but like, and I'll give them credit.
Maybe it's not.
It is. But they managed to marry it in a way that cohesively makes sense, but doesn't make it dependent on that. Do you know what I mean?
And one more thing I watched. I got to Quiet on Set finally.
Oh, right.
If you grew up with Drake and Josh and stuff like that, Amanda Bynes, I think you kind of owe it to yourself to watch it. I think it's a pretty interesting, eye-opening kind of experience to see like what was going on these sets.
Yeah.
But it didn't ruin anything for me. In terms of like, oh, Drake and Josh, like can't watch it ever
for
again.
sure.
Like I'm just like, well, like it's not anyone involved in these shows' fault. It's like the people behind the scenes were like very shitty people.
Sure, like actors, you mean, and stuff. Yeah.
Right. It's not like the actor, like you find out like one of the actors.
It just sucks because it
sucks.
Right.
Know?
But
and it seems like actually like Drake was more obviously dragged through the dirt in terms of like I was so I didn't know any of that shit happened to him.
Well, no one did.
No one did.
Well,
Yeah.
until this doc came out, he was an undisclosed like victim in the case.
Right.
So no one.
But
even
like
knew.
I remember like a lot. Josh Peck kind of started being on the podcast scene, and he would talk about Drake, and it seemed like he just like shit on Drake every chance he got. And I'm like, dude, maybe I think you were the problem, dude.
Well, so there was this other thing in Mexico apparently where he was like talking to an underage girl, which he said he didn't know. And
So
but I did see like that kind of got resolved in a way.
So he pled. So he talks about that, and I watched like the 5th episode they came out with.
Yeah.
You don't need to watch that.
Yeah.
That was kind of weird.
It was like
it was like let's interview the people after this, and it's like okay, but weird.
You already that's what this show is. You
right.
them all.
It was like less quality.
Yeah.
Like, we're just gonna like throw this together. But so Drake Bell like did those messages with a minor, and then he pled guilty.
He pled no contest or something.
No, he pled guilty to something he just actually didn't do because he was like kind of just like whatever. Like it was interesting.
But the thing with
he plays a character in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah.
He voices a character in Kingdom Hearts, and like I remember when that came out and like everyone started shitting on him. I'm like, okay, interesting, and then it comes out that like he actually didn't do it, but he pled guilty to it anyway because he was just like too traumatized to really like deal with any of it. So he was just like,
it seems like a very odd situation.
Get in trouble. Yeah,
but
kind of feel
even
bad
the stuff
for him.
with Josh though, he's a piece of shit.
I'm surprised Amanda Bynes wasn't involved with the interviews.
She's too whacked out. Yeah, it's unfortunately. But no, there's like
or even like
there
Josh
was a
Peck
really
and,
good
like, Miranda Cosgrove.
Well,
Jeanette
so he was
McCurdy.
apparently coming out and like defending what's his name at first, and then after the Drake stuff came out, he was like, he like kind of begrudgingly was like, oh, I'm sorry.
You almost
what
have
happened.
to take back what you said.
And then
because I mean, if he didn't know, he didn't know.
But then like there was stuff with him where like I don't know, he clearly was like really good friends with him for like years.
Dan Snyder?
No, with Drake for years. Like and like was at a lot of things. And then just and he like cut him off randomly. I think it was because of I can't remember exactly what it was. But then the whole thing happened with him in the wedding. And then that got back. But then, after the thing in Mexico happened, he kind of dunked on him again. He was like, yeah, we were never really friends, actually. Like,
that's exactly what I'm talking about.
That's not true because there was, I can't remember who did it. I think Moist Critical, Charlie. I watch his videos from time to time. But he was, he recommended a doc where this guy was talking about their relationship and just like basically just showed like no, they were really good friends for a while until like Josh just cut him off all of a sudden, and then like he did seem to have a legitimate like grievance of like he was surprised they didn't invite him to his wedding because he was like, yeah, well, what the fuck? I thought like and then probably don't do that publicly, but I don't know, he seems like a weird backstabby kind of
Josh
like
Peck.
Dude, there was apparently they were gonna do a Josh and Drake show, and like during the whole show the idea was that Drake was going to be like an absolute piece of shit down and out loser who like didn't make it anywhere, and Josh was like the super successful like business guy, like it was going to like flip the script, and apparently they were working on it for a while. Anyways, we're getting too deep into Drake and Josh. That's a very good doc. Was there anything else you watched?
No, that was it.
One more thing for me that I forgot to mention.
Okay.
Hitman. on Netflix.
movie?
No, it's Hitman, not Hitman, Agent 47.
Right.
It's Hitman, Glenn Powell.
Yeah, I know this movie.
It was good. It was a very odd movie tonally. It's about a real guy, Gary Johnson, who apparently helped a bunch of, who like helped with a bunch of undercover sting operations that took people in who were like trying to solicit a hitman's services. Like it would basically be like a sting. Like people would search around and be like, "Hey, you know a guy who can take care of a guy," and then that would get taken back to the police, and he'd like pose as the hitman to go in and be like, "Hey, you pay me, I kill your whatever." And once they make the deal, they go in and arrest him. But it kind of starts falling into this weird kind of romance story, which was funny, and like you get to see Glenn Powell in all these weird and interesting costumes, but it's only for like a 10-minute scene really quickly.
Okay.
And I don't know. I thought it was fun, but like I just didn't know what it wanted to be tonally. Because there was some like serious topics, but then like it was all jokey. I just didn't know what they were going for exactly. I love Glenn Powell, and I actually think
he seems to be really kind of in the spotlight.
The chemistry between him and the other lead was fantastic. Truly, like
who was the other lead?
I can't remember her name. She was in Andor. She was like the girl who gets tortured all the time. Who got tortured a lot in it by like the Empire.
Friend, girlfriend. Mm-hmm. The girl he has sex with.
Yes. And I will tell you something, Gooch. I have not seen that type of sexual tension in a movie in a while. Like that, like genuine like chemistry between the two leads.
I kind of want to watch that rom-com he's in with Sydney Sweeney.
Oh yeah, what is it called? I know what you're talking about. They hate each other.
Yeah, but they love each other.
But they love each other. But everyone loves each other. But yeah, Hitman. I would recommend. I mean, it's on Netflix, so watch it if you're bored one night. But like, I wasn't blown away.
Two real life things. Well, I went on vacation last week. Went to Myrtle Beach, did a golf trip.
Looks
Alex
grand.
is getting married.
Congrats, Alex.
Yeah, friend of the show. Been on maybe like 2 or 3 times for some Marvel stuff. But yeah, that was fun. Golf trip. We usually do that yearly. And a big life update. I think I was talking about this on the last podcast, and I was like, "Oh, I'll wait until everything's
settled. The dust is settled."
I'm starting a new job. Be doing something similar. My new title is webinar and events manager. I'm working for a company called The Institutes, where I'm going to be kind of producing their digital offerings. They make education for risk management and insurance practitioners. For those professions, you need to like keep accredited, and you have to like keep up to date to like keep doing those sort of things. And so they have digital offerings, but also they have a campus nearby in our area, and they host events at their campus. So I'll be producing them as well. So I'm going back to the office, a little hybrid action, 2 in the office, 3 at home.
I'm starting the same thing next week. 2 in the office.
Oh, you are?
Yeah, next week I start that. So fun stuff.
We're doing it together.
We are.
Literally.
Yeah,
because I start Monday. I'm my last day as we're recording this is the 13th. My last day of my last job was the 11th, so I'm off for a few days, and then I start on the 17th. So looking forward to it. Been trying to leave my current job for a very long time at this point. Gonna make some more money.
Congrats, my friend. Hopefully, that's fantastic. That's what it's all about.
We'll move out at some point. DNN HQ will change.
Absolutely.
With that move. That actually affects the podcast. It does. Very much.
And that's good stuff, man.
Yeah, man.
Happy for you.
It's been a good 2024, I gotta say. And it's been a good 2024 for games, because Summer Games Fest was fucking hot this year. Let's start off with PlayStation, the state of play that happened on May 30th. First up, Conquered from Firewalk Studios. We saw a cinematic trailer, Guardians of the Galaxy feel, Marvel dialogue. Alongside that, we did see back up. Now I'm reading my notes back and it gets confusing.
Right, yeah.
So they kind of talked about that we're going to be seeing these type of cinematics weekly as a way to sort of give us the story content in a multiplayer game. This is kind of something that Apex did, and I think like not failed, but it was just like,
they released like a trailer with each character, right, or something like that. It was like a story thing.
Yeah, the Apex kind of did the same thing, but didn't like be like, oh, we're going to be releasing a cinematic vignette weekly. They didn't do anything like that prim and proper, but they always do that sort of thing. Overwatch does that sort of thing. So I feel like it's very...
But that seems a lot more loose, though, right? That's not like on a weekly basis, right?
I'm like, that seems okay, but like, are you gonna be able to keep doing that weekly?
I think you can, with like, CG animation, if you get ahead of that and it's like, I don't know, 5 to 10 minute whatevers, I think you can get away with that for sure.
I just don't know how much that costs and how much time it takes, right?
Yeah.
So you would think they probably have a lot made already.
Well, think about it. I mean, how much does it cost to make like a freaking animated movie? 200, depending on 200,000.
That's it?
Actually, no. I'm trying to think of an animated film. Let's see. What Lightyear production budget.
Now we're totally off track already.
No, it's all right. $200 million. US.
Oh, $200 million.
Yes, sorry.
I thought you said 200,000.
I apologize. I probably did.
Okay.
But yeah, so I don't know. That is a lot of money. But you got to think about that. So that's a 90-minute movie.
This is a Sony first party, by the way.
Right.
So they have the Sony budget.
Absolutely. But yeah, I don't know, man.
So let's talk about that cinematic trailer. What'd you think of that?
It definitely felt like Guardians of the Galaxy.
But we have that at home.
But we have Star Ghost or Star Child. My apologies.
It just like it reeked of Marvel dialogue.
It felt like something that was kind of everyone sat in a boardroom 5 years ago and was like, Overwatch is pretty cool and so is Guardians of the Galaxy. Let's put that into a thing. And I don't know, like the gameplay itself looked very hero shootery, for better or for worse.
That's what it is.
And
for sure. Not wrong.
I wasn't like, this looks awful, but it was not catching me by any means.
Yeah, so we got a gameplay trailer after the cinematic trailer. Conquered is a 5v5 character-driven first-person multiplayer shooter set in the Concord or Concord? That's the question.
Concord, I believe.
It's Concord, like the town is Concord.
Yeah, I think it's Concord.
Anyway.
I would assume, anyways, but I don't know.
You play as a crew of the North Star, a group of guns for hire known as Free Gunners. Overwatch-like in terms of character and gameplay. At launch, Conquer will have a roster of 16 characters, and the North Star crew will grow over time through regular free post-launch updates that introduce playable Free Gunners, maps, modes, cinematic vignettes, and more. A lot of people are shitting on it, and I kind of don't really get why. I think it's just because it looks like Overwatch, so like we have that already, so it's like bad. I don't know. I think there's some like potential here. I think I'm due for a multiplayer game to kind of like get its hooks in me. So like I want this game to be good.
As someone who enjoyed Helldivers 2 a lot and did not know what to expect from that, this could be good. But off the bat, I could not care less. I don't care about hero shooters mostly at all. And I think, it's funny because it feels like a saturated kind of field, but it really isn't, which is the weird thing.
I think it is and it isn't.
Like, right? You know what I mean?
I know. I do know what you mean.
And it does just look so shamelessly inspired by these certain things that like
we already have.
It just makes me be like, I don't care.
Like, Apex is a hero battle royale game. I mean, like it's not the
same way of like.
But that's what separates like it from like the other battle royales that like it's hero based. But it is hero based.
It is hero based, but it doesn't.
You got your every shade of the rainbow kind of character, whether it's ethnicity, nationality, size, shape,
whatever they're doing. Yeah,
right. Like you're getting like everything you can in a hero, and like checking off boxes, and like we got the big dude, we got the big robot,
but that
we
definitely
got the girl,
feels like
the
a
Asian
first-person
girl.
shooter first, and then a hero, like whatever behind it. You know what I mean? In a weird way, like
you're saying Concord is that?
No, I'm saying Apex is that. Whereas like this, where Concord feels much more squarely in the Overwatch.
You said Concord.
Concord.
No, that's all right, sorry.
No, you're right. That feels much more squarely in the hero shooter verse. You know what I mean? Whereas I get that Apex is technically like a hero shooter, I guess you could necessarily, but like I feel like it focuses it leans much more towards the COD of it all than the Overwatch of it all, if that makes any sense.
Yes.
In the way of like how the gameplay works and all that stuff. And like you have these kind of different abilities that each character has, but like everyone has the same guns and stuff like that. Whereas like Overwatch is that the same way? Whereas like Overwatch, everyone has their own.
One guy has a bow. Reinhardt has the hammer.
Like you are very much.
I didn't even think about it like that.
You know what I mean?
So like,
it just feels much more Call of Duty like than this ever would.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of hoping this does something. It's going to be on PC and PS5. $39.99 for the regular edition, physical and digital. $60 for the digital deluxe edition, which gives you character skins and 72-hour early access. For pre-orders, it includes 5 beta codes. That's 1 for you and 4 friends, so you can have a whole team. There's going to be a beta weekend in July, and it comes out on August 23rd, 2024. I'll give PlayStation this, and honestly, Summer Games Fest as a whole, there's a lot of games that are like immediately coming out,
right?
Like a ton.
I agree.
So that's kind of nice. I think this year is packed of a lot of games, but there's not your, you know, you don't have your Halos or your like Horizons. Like there's nothing like that this year per se, except for like 1 or 2. But you know, I kind of hope this game is good. I don't know if I'm going to pre-order it. I don't think I have 5 friends who like I would actually know who to give the codes to and who would like play. Mm-hmm. Maybe one of my friends can do that for me.
Who knows? It won't be me because I won't be buying it.
There you go. Trio spoken.
I've spoken.
Next up, God of War Ragnarok coming to PC. You know, that includes everything you need to, you know, the post-content stuff. Valhalla's in there. Unlocked frames, 4K, all that jazz. That's coming out September 19th, 2024. Moving on. Dynasty Warriors Origins reveal trailer.
Can I actually stop you for a sec? I apologize.
Dude, I said moving on.
I know, but I have to.
When we move on, we move on.
We're going back. We're going back. I'm pulling us back. I keep seeing to God of War.
Okay.
Just on a really quick aside, I keep seeing people being like, "Why would Sony, Sony's trying to get people to buy PlayStations by not putting these on PCs for 2 years? That would never happen. Why PC players don't even want to get an Epic account? Bah." Listen.
Oh,
guys.
by the way, you need a PSN account to play God of War Ragnarok.
Which fine,
same issues that Helldivers was in.
See, Helldivers is, I think, a much different story because they sold that before they told you that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Whereas like this, they're telling you.
There was messaging that you needed one.
Yeah.
Like, oh, there it is.
And at least say, like, do that. That's fine. But like, even if like a percentage of people buy I can definitely imagine that there's some PC players out there. I'm sure it's not a ton of them, even if it's a sliver of them that bought Spider-Man on PC. Spider-Man 1's on PC, right?
I think so.
And
I would assume so.
They were like, "Wow, this is awesome."
I put money on it.
Okay, fantastic. Spider-Man 2 is coming out next year. Oh man, that means I have to wait like at least 3 years. Fuck it, I'm gonna buy a PlayStation. Like that definitely. I'm sure that happens, and I do think that is a big part of their groove, and I just think that is a smart move. That's all I wanted to say there. I felt like I saw that whole kind of conversation going on. But anyways, you're saying about Dynasty Warriors.
Dynasty Warriors Origins reveal trailer from Omega Force and Koei Tecmo Games. Have you played Dynasty Warrior games or played them as a kid?
Nope.
Okay, I feel like there was like someone you knew had a Dynasty Warriors game. It was just like
no bells, honestly. I don't even really remember.
So this is like a 1 versus it's a Musou 1 versus like 1,000 gameplay. Like you're cutting down armies, that sort of thing. This game will have the largest armies ever seen in the series. The main protagonist is going to be a nameless person, so usually it's a named person. I did some research on that, and the game is coming out in 2025. No date.
Right.
Infinite Nikki gameplay reveal trailer from Infold Games. So this is I did some research. These early ones I did some research on. This is it's called a dress up game.
Oh, I've seen that. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's
like dressing up a girl, like a girl, right, or something.
Right,
yeah.
but like it's like open world and like there's like gathering and you collect outfits. So like the outfits have stuff to do with like platforming and things like that, like puzzles and shit.
Looks like a really cool kids game for sure. Like but
it isn't over sexualized.
No, it looks very. Yeah. It's very cute. It's not very sexual.
Right.
At all.
I sent this trailer to my girlfriend. And I'm like, there's this like cat thing that follows you around. I'm like, what do you think of this? She's like, this looks incredible. I'm like.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Sounds about right.
I love it.
There's going to be beta testing for this in Q3 2024 on PS5. For some reason, there is the Scarlet Spider costume from Marvel Rivals up here. You see that in my doc?
No, I didn't actually.
Yeah, it's just... I don't know. I'm copy and pasting error. Ballad of Antar reveal trailer from Infold Games. New IP, free-to-play action RPG, very Sekiro looking, coming out in 2025. Got a comment about this. There are way too many Feudal Japan games. You can't tell them apart.
I feel like we say this on
You can't tell them apart. Game developers, stop making these games. Stop.
Gooch, this
Stop.
is like monkeys with comic
Stop.
books in the 80s. Okay.
There's so many. There were like 4 or 5 of them, and I'm going to say the same thing in every one. I'm like, this looks like the other 4 that I just saw, and I don't know how to tell them apart.
People keep buying them.
I guess.
Like, no, I mean, they apparently, I think they are doing well. Like, what's it called even did well, but like I was just saying, it's the monkeys of the 1960s in comic books.
Monkeys.
Or gorillas, I apologize.
Like Gorilla Grodd and like.
Well, yeah, he's part of it. But apparently, I think it was the 60s or the 70s, they noticed in comic books that when you had a gorilla on the front page, things would sell much better. So
Okay,
like there
I've
was a
never heard
stretch
this
there.
analogy.
I'm not. No, it's. I think the first time it's being used, but
First time it's ever been uttered.
First time it's ever been uttered. Feudal Japan is the gorilla on the cover of comic books right now. For some reason, I think people do really like it. I like people seem to really be enjoying that setting and like you know, I do think there is a good amount to offer there. I mean, we'll talk about shadows when we get to that later, but I can't disagree with you. I feel like there's a lot of it. A lot.
Next up, we have a game from Skydance, the movie production studio, Behemoth. We got a gameplay trailer for that. This is going to be on PSVR 2. This was first revealed back in 2022, so it's been a while since we've seen it. Nordic-inspired combat game. It's releasing in fall 2024. Trio, are you going to buy PSVR 2 for this game?
That's a negative.
And not even Alien Rogue Incursion,
which
we also saw.
I might have a spare $500 laying around, but I think I'm going to have to hold off for the moment.
So... Behemoth looks pretty cool. I assume, like, again, it's kind of like every time we get to VR, it's like, what is this really doing?
I'm not gonna lie, I didn't watch any of the VR trailers.
I mean, I don't blame you.
Yeah, like it's
the Alien one was like very brief, like
really.
And so this dev does a lot of VR. The one for Rogue Incursion, and this is coming out holiday 2024. But it's like, when are we gonna get to a point where the horror games on VR become like? Just like, why do we keep doing these? Like, it seems like, I don't know, like, I think whatever's going to push VR forward isn't horror anymore. I feel like that was like a launch thing, but like, I think we need more than just that.
I think those games work so well in VR and
they
are made so much because they are just so tactile and immersive in certain ways.
Right.
And you know, they don't command a lot of maybe space and stuff like that in the way of like, you know, your character's usually running away. I do think those games flourish, and dude, I wouldn't do it, but I'd think about buying a PSVR 2 to play Resident Evil 8 in that. I'm sure that game plays awesome, and even like the old Resident Evil 4, like not the remake, played super well in VR. I just think VR is going to be one of those things that's just stuck until you make it just the easiest thing on earth.
Because PSVR 2 definitely didn't sell well. Got a price cut as well.
Yeah.
From like we found out during this showcase because they showed the price tag.
Oh well, now you can play it on your PC too. Is the other thing.
They like it's just
which makes sense. That's what they should.
They have to do. Yeah.
Yeah. Now you can play Alex on it. But it's not going to come to PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Natively, anyways.
Yeah. Behemoth looked pretty cool. Like it was just like different. So like. Yeah, I don't know what you need to sell VR, but I think horror is getting a bit trite.
The thing is, Gooch, horror, I think, is whether it be video games or even movies at this point, it is the everlasting gobstopper for some reason. I don't know why. It always sells. Like, if I could play, like, Amnesia the Bunker in fucking VR...
Wow.
That would be cool as fuck.
They gotta be making a VR port of that.
Well, dude, you'd think, and like stuff,
dude, that's
like
those
nuts. Games would work.
Holy shit!
That's what I mean. I understand why horror is used so much in VR because I do think it works so well for it. Like how do you make Metal Gear Solid in VR? That's tough.
That would be like impossible.
Almost impossible. Like
There's
unless
too
you're in
much.
unless you're in a room with an omnidirectional treadmill and like the whole environment's around you perfectly. That's like, you know, it's never going to be that good until like even I can maybe just beam my head into the video game. So I don't know. VR is an interesting topic indeed. I could care less, sadly.
Another thing you probably could care less about, another hero shooter. Marvel Rivals gameplay trailer from NetEase. Do you care?
To quite the contrary, Gooch. This looks pretty good. See, this one like makes the most sense to me.
Yeah, for sure.
Because they're superheroes.
Right.
Hero shooter, right. And I think, you know, does it look pretty Overwatchy?
Absolutely.
100%.
Absolutely.
But like
much more than Concord.
But I think those specifically fit very well. Like those character designs and like Doctor Strange and Groot and all these people, I think fit very squarely in that character style. And it's free, right? It's free to play. I believe it is. So that's another thing that kind of makes me like, I'll give that a shot.
Yeah,
100%.
I wasn't sold from the first few showings we saw of this, but watching this gameplay trailer, I was kind of like, all right, maybe
I think it could be cool.
Maybe.
Yeah.
It's a 6v6 superhero team-based PvP shooter. We got to see Venom and Adam Warlock revealed in this trailer. There are 3 hero categories: Vanguard, Duelist, and Strategist. Vanguard is probably tank, Duelist is probably DPS, Strategist is probably support.
Okay.
If I had to take a guess. There's going to be a PlayStation exclusive Scarlet Spider costume for Spider-Man and a closed beta in July of this year. Yeah, I'm interested. I just got to see what if it ends up being popular,
right?
I guess.
No, for sure.
If none of my friends are going to play it, sometimes I'm really in on a multiplayer game and I'm really out on multiplayer games.
Right.
Sort of like Helldivers is a good example of that, where I just like wasn't interested at all from the get-go. So like when people got it, I was like, yeah, I don't know.
No, you got to be. I understand that.
Yeah, I got to be there.
And
first.
again, that $40 like price tag does make it better, but I do think a leg up this has over something like a Concord is. There's no price tag of admission, and maybe that works out better for Concord in the long run because all their DLCs included. Maybe there's more paid stuff, but I would hope for the Marvel stuff, it's all free. Gameplay content, maybe not aesthetically, of course.
Oh yeah, there'd be skins to buy. Of course, but, it's Marvel. It's Marvel superhero stuff. That's where you're making your money.
No, exactly, absolutely.
Next up, we have Where Winds Meet gameplay trailer from Everstone Studio. This is a Chinese developer. Last time we saw this game was at Gamescom 2023. It's a wuxia open world action RPG. Wuxia means literally martial arts and chivalry. It's a genre of Chinese fiction concerning the adventures of martial artists in ancient China. This game's been in development for 5 years, set in China. Set in a period in Chinese history known as the 5 Dynasties and 10 Kingdoms. So your mystical superhuman powers, water walking up cliffs, that sort of thing. And there's no release window. This was the one with there was a person with a kid on their back, and I'm like, is this Sekiro 2?
Right.
Like I immediately thought that. I was like, this looks like
on?
Sekiro. Everything about this looks like Sekiro. And then again, another feudal Japan Chinese game that they all look the same. And I'm like, cool. I don't know if I'm gonna get this, but somebody will.
Right. Yeah, nothing really to say on my end.
Moving on. I think we got a lot to say about this next one. Until Dawn remaster trailer from Ballistic Moon, PS5, PC, fall 2024. Why are they making this?
Because of the movie.
Yeah,
I think that's why, and just so they have an updated version for you to play.
I watched the trailer and I'm like, this doesn't look like all that much better.
I would love to see a side by side because I kind of agreed, but at the same time, I felt like I thought that way sometimes.
If they just shadow dropped a port of this, I think that would have gone over much better. But the fact that they're kind of like, I don't know when this Until Dawn movie is coming out.
There's supposedly more content in it too, right, or something like deleted scenes.
Is there?
I believe so.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
Which would make more sense.
Yeah, but it's just kind of like...
I agree.
They're making it to be a cash cow with the movie.
I think so. That makes the most sense to me.
They want the new for when that comes out.
And I can't imagine that's the hardest upgrade to make.
Right. It seems genuinely. It doesn't look like they re-record anything, and getting Rami Malek at this point in his career would be probably a big. Oh yeah, big
I think they just used the sort of maybe.
Yeah, I think so.
I don't think he's that big, to be honest.
Ooh.
I don't know. What else has he been in since Bond?
Well, before that, he was in Bohemian Rhapsody. That was kind of his big moment. But
fair.
He hasn't really been anything since. Okay, I'll give it to you.
That's what I'll push back on Rami Malek.
Have some respect. Put some respect on the name. Path of Exile 2 gameplay trailer from Grinding Gears Games. We first saw this in 2019, so it's been a while. Free-to-play top-down dungeon crawler like Diablo. We have 12 character classes coming, 6-stack campaign with an expansive endgame, couch co-op coming to PS5 and PC with cross-progression, and an early access in late 2024. Trio, anything to say about Path of Exile? I don't have much to say.
No.
I always know this game has been about. I knew the second one was kind of in the ether, but yeah. We got a Silent Hill 2 remake release date trailer from Bloober Team and Konami. The date is October 8th, 2024. We're going to talk about more Silent Hill in depth in a second, but I think this trailer sucked. The character models looked bad, specifically
there was only
the character
one
of
that
Angela in the white sweater looked
sort of
horrible.
like Coconut had a little, yeah.
From Ned's Declassified.
Yeah, from Ned's Classified.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know. There's not.
I
much
do
else
want to talk
say.
about the gameplay.
Yeah, we'll talk about the
The
gameplay.
gameplay trailer, I was like, okay,
Yeah.
we'll look good.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, do you want to get into it now, or should we wait until we have a chance
No,
to get-
we got 2 more games, and then we'll get to it really quickly. Monster Hunter Wilds gameplay trailer from Konami. We got fully voiced conversations, which is a new thing for the series. Extreme weather conditions that transform locations in unexpected ways. We have a rideable mount called the Scret, whatever. Save data reward from Monster Hunter World. So if you played that game, you get to import your save. You get some goodies.
Nice.
This is coming out in 2025. Trio. Did Monster Hunter Wilds pique your interest?
No, but I will say something about Monster Hunter Worlds and Wilds and all that stuff. They seem pretty quality. Like everyone seems to like them. Who loves them?
I think
and,
since
you know,
Worlds, Monster Hunter has really kind of stepped up its quality.
Capcom in general, I will give them credit.
Yeah,
for the most
for
part.
sure.
Yeah.
I think Monster Hunters, and this kind of goes to that fully voiced conversations, was really delineated to, I think, like handheld systems like PSP and 3DS, and it was just kind of like not this console game. And now it is, and I feel like they're like kind of catching up in terms like the conversation things.
Makes
and sort
sense.
of like, we do like now we have dynamic weather, and the weather changes the environment and changes how you hunt monsters and stuff like that.
Cool.
So I really think Monster Hunters is kind of like really showing what it can do. Capcom is showing what it can do with this IP that's been around for a long time. And the highlight for the PlayStation Showcase and a highlight for Summer Games Fest for me, Astrobot reveal trailer. We asked for it. We got it. Team Asobi giving us 6 galaxies with over 80 levels, 15 new abilities with over 70 enemy types. And this is coming very soon on September 6th of this year. Day one purchase.
I mean, yeah, this looks awesome.
I'm
I
excited.
love it. It does really feel like, and they said this in like the promotional, like a celebration of PlayStation in a lot of ways.
Yeah, for sure. And I think, and I could say this for Xbox too. We need like the kid game. You know,
They've really just allowed Nintendo to just kind of have it.
yeah.
Yeah.
And when we talk about Horizon, we'll get to that kid game thing again.
Yeah.
But I think this is going to be for when, mom of 13-year-old boy upgrades to a PS5 and he gets this alongside his PlayStation.
Absolutely.
This is the kid get. There a lot of information has come out about it, but I'm gonna be there day one, man. This game looks great.
1000%, man.
I don't know if it has a physical release. It may, but there. I say,
start crying.
I say that as in
start crying.
I didn't
You
look
don't
it
know,
up.
right. Yeah.
Not that it doesn't, but Astrobot obviously the Playroom was digital only.
Well, and that was like a much smaller experience. Like this, they're pitching this as like a full size, like a game, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Jeez, sorry, I'm a little rusty here.
I'm gonna steal something that Dustin said on Sacred Symbols. So if you listen to this, you heard it.
All right.
I think it's clear that Sony was going to do something bigger, and they decided to not do something bigger. Because in the state of play, there's no mention of it actually being a state of play. Never mentioned in voice, with like...
Yeah.
So I feel like they had a showcase planned, and they dialed it down a notch.
Maybe they just didn't feel like they had enough, because I do remember they had enough to call it a showcase or whatever.
I think if they had the PlayStation 5 Pro ready to launch, this would have been not ready to show. This would have been a showcase,
right?
And maybe like 1 or 2 more games, because like let's be honest, there's nothing here in terms of their big hitting first party titles.
100%.
Nothing.
Excuse me. And I mean,
think
they said that
Astrobot
before.
is the biggest thing, and that's like a weird big thing,
And they did say like we're not getting any major announcements this year.
No,
like,
we're not getting any
first parties.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
That makes sense. But yeah, I think that's a great showing in that regard. I really like Astrobot. I'm glad they're leaning into him a lot.
I think the state of play was fine. At first I was like, it was kind of bad. I'm like, nah, let me reevaluate. because I think a lot of people were saying like Summer Games Fest, Geoff's show was bad. I'm like, there's just a lot of games you just aren't interested in there. That doesn't necessarily mean it's bad.
Right.
There's a lot that, from both these things, there's a lot of different games here for different strokes for different folks. And like, that's what it is. And if that's bad, I think we might have to change your definition of good. That it just wasn't tailored to you.
You're just getting so many games now too. Yeah. So
right. There's just so much out there. It's
honestly,
it's not like E3 was in like 2007.
But even with that, like thinking back to that, there were like the large, like, you had a bunch of big games, but like, I don't know. I think we got a lot this year, to be honest, especially between Xbox and everything. Yeah. So I think people who are saying like nothing came out of this.
A lot.
I
don't need Last of Us Part 3 this year. There's so much else. I'm going through backlogs. Like,
I don't need Last of Us Part 3, period.
Right! He said it. All right. Anyway, let's go over to the Silent Hill transmission. We're not going to be talking about this in full, but we are going to be talking about the gameplay from the Silent Hill 2 remake, which I thought was impressive. This is the first time where I felt like a lot of people have been critiquing this game. Silent Hill 2 is a very critically acclaimed darling of a game. And a lot of people are scared this remake and Bloober is going to fuck it up. I was going to say,
I think that was kind of the main critique, right? Like that they just haven't really done much. And
Layers of Fear.
And did they do the Dark Souls remake? Or the Demon Souls remake?
Oh, no, that was Blue Point, not Bloober.
God damn these guys.
Yeah.
Okay, but makes sense.
Yeah. So, watch the gameplay, and a few things I noticed. The fog looked incredible. It's Silent Hill. The whole thing is like fog. Like, that's the point. Right. So it's got to look good, right? One thing I noticed they added that wasn't in the original game was like your in-game map, where like he takes it out and you see the map. Yeah, I thought that was really cool.
That is cool.
The melee combat takes a bit of hints from our buddy Callisto Protocol, which when we've talked about that, I've always said that like the melee was like the real. There was a lot of potential in that, and it was good, but they didn't end up doing
it wasn't fully fleshed out.
Yeah. And then I mentioned it, but like, I didn't mention this. Maria, who is a character in the game, has like an outfit change, makes her look a little bit less seductive, which I think is not good. That the point of that character, she's supposed to look like a slut and like promiscuous. And a lot of people were pointing that out. I'm not a Silent Hill 2 fan, but I'm kind of dialed in on what's going on with it. Trio, are you going to get this game? Did this convince you? Where are you at?
Yeah, right now I think I'll pick it up. Okay. With Silent Hill, with something I never played the original.
Yeah, it's a series. I think we were just too young.
I think so too.
We're too scared.
Absolutely.
Nobody put it in front of our faces like play this game.
Yeah, play this game. Definitely a game that would have screwed me up, especially if I played that too young.
Yeah, Silent Hill 2 is a very psychological, deep game.
For sure.
Yes.
You know me with my horror games. Nom. I'll eat that right up. Give me it every time, especially third person. Kind of slower pace like that. I hope they do well, and I don't think the like gameplay blew me away by any means, but I think it looked a lot better than I was expecting. I think there's potential there. If that game's, do you think that's a game? See, we don't. I don't know the original game very well, so I don't know if that's a game you directly translate.
Yes, I think it is.
Okay,
I know it is.
Okay, so
from the communities I'm in, I've watched Silent Hill 2 a bunch. I know a lot about it.
That's something you want. The people want a direct translation,
just like with MGS3,
right? And even like I know Resident Evil 4 isn't like direct, but that's like pretty close, right?
It's close, but there's no cigar.
Right. Okay.
Yeah. I guess that's a more negative connotation, but it isn't 1-to-1.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
You should play the original Resident Evil 4. It's ported on PS4.
So I played most of it in VR.
Oh, right.
So I was trying, and it was funny. I was trying to remember the major. I think I only got up to the
major story beats are there.
Yeah.
Besides like one or two things.
I think on the VR I only got up to the minecart point.
Yeah.
And then that was it. But yeah, man. Like I said, horror game, critically acclaimed, classic that hopefully they did a great job on. I'll definitely.
This will be. I'm definitely gonna get it. This is gonna be my first crack at it.
Looks moody for sure,
and I hope it's just not bad.
Right.
It's kind of hard. Again, it's like with these games with these diehard fans, it's kind of hard to have like an unbiased look at it, or like a look that isn't like, people are protective of those IPs, so they're just ready to fucking douse them in oil and fucking light them up, And it's the same thing with MGS.
Right.
The same thing was happening with the Delta trailer. We'll talk about it a little bit down the road.
Right.
But let's switch into Summer Game Fest 2024. That was on June 7th. This is the actual those two things before were like Summer Game Fest before Summer Game Fest.
Adjacent, yeah, if you will.
First up, and I hope I didn't miss anything, when I was doing Ubisoft and Xbox, I was using like a write-up that didn't have everything, and I was like, oh my god, dude, I almost missed like MGS Delta. And then like same with Ubisoft, I was like, why do these write-ups not just put everything fucking in there in order? That's what I want. That's, I'll make the decision to include it in my own show
Look at
notes.
me, I'm the captain.
I'm the captain of this fucking podcast. Lego Horizon Adventures reveal trailer. This is going to be on PC, PS5, and Switch. This is an online or couch co-op game with a release window of holiday 2024. PlayStation is targeting children.
Those sick fucks.
And I mean, like, I'm at, whoever thought you were going to see Aloy on Switch? That's you got.
Well, I would
have to do.
Well,
it.
it's interesting. I would have never. Yeah, it's true. Just that character in general, I definitely would never have expected to see Horizon Zero Dawn in a
Lego form.
But
like those leaks, I was just like, what?
This makes
I almost
much.
Didn't believe
so
it.
the leaks now, I still think so. There's like the leaks of the remake of Horizon, Zero Dawn, the first one.
Yes.
And then there was
the MMO.
Yeah, and then the MMO. But then there was this that leaked after it.
And everyone was like,
and I was like, so, and I think Dustin said this on Sacred Symbols, and I tend to agree with him. I think this is the remake that we were getting. I think this was,
I don't know what it's supposed to be in terms of story. It's just,
I think it's the first game. It seems. I thought it was like a
more bastardized version of it.
Right, or like
just like how
more
Lego
Legoized.
Star Wars is a bastardized version. No,
Sure, yeah. I know what you mean.
That's probably like not the greatest word to use. But that is the definition. Yeah. Smaller. Yeah.
But I would not have expected. But I do think that this is the remake. If we still get an announcement of like. Oh, if they announced a remaster of Horizon Forbidden West, that would make more sense to me because you're not. Dawn. But like if they're Zero Dawn, the fucking naming convention. I got you. That would make more sense to me. But that game does not need to be remade. What the fuck are we doing?
Right, it doesn't.
It makes more sense if you're remaking it as a Lego game. That makes more sense to me a little bit.
Okay.
I mean, I still don't necessarily agree with it or would go with it.
Are you gonna get this?
No.
Yeah, neither am I.
No.
I think this is truly like this is not for Horizon fans per se. I really think this is a kid's game.
Well, I think it's what you can lead your kid into Horizon with if you are a Horizon fan.
Yeah, we've never seen anything like this.
No, this is genuinely never.
This is
seen
like uncharted territory.
That's a good one. You didn't even mean to do it. Uncharted, like the game.
Oh yeah, I mean,
like they could do an Uncharted game too. Honestly, an Uncharted Lego. Yeah, like. I if this does well, I could easily see them. Dude, imagine Lego God of War. It's not gonna happen.
I'm gonna fucking slice your Lego out.
So
I'm gonna fucking rip your Lego arms off and feed you to my dog.
Someone was sharing a bunch of like original trilogy God of War scenes, and there are some
they're brutal,
wild scenes in that. Like there's one where you're
girls,
like they all you're fucking
moves.
girls, and then you press A and like more jump in, and they all. Imagine that in Lego. Anyways, no, I don't want to. Yeah.
So
interesting stuff.
My girlfriend's a big Horizon fan, and she's playing through Forbidden West now. And I sent this to her, and I'm like, "What do you think of this?" She was like, "What?" Like she was not interested at all.
Well, it feels like especially for someone who likes this, feels like a downgraded version. So yeah, I don't think it's for current players. I think it's for. Maybe
kids.
It's for kids, but it's for also Switch. Adults that maybe are Horizon fans that want to get their kids into it.
I mean, I'm not saying like adults can't play this game.
Oh, for sure. I am. If you play this as an adult, what the fuck? No. I'm kidding. I mean, dude, I just played Lego Star Wars. I mean, that last Lego Star Wars game is so good.
This is gonna ray tracing, I think.
Did the last one not?
So we were talking in the Discord. Did the Star Wars one have ray tracing?
Thought so. I remember it had crazy reflections.
Right.
Like we were like, what the fuck? Like this looks so real. Like, it's wild. No, it looks like a real Lego piece. Yeah, it is. That you see like the seams on them and everything. Yeah. It's pretty wild.
It's fucking wild. Let's move on. No More Room in Hell 2 reveal trailer. 8-player zombie co-op FPS with a permadeath thing. So it's like if you die, like if you're with your boys and you die, you're done. So you like really fuck up by dying.
This isn't like a survival game though, right? It's like more like Left 4 Dead akin.
Yeah, that's what they were saying. And like it was like a cinematic trailer. It wasn't like a gameplay trailer. Early access isn't this Halloween. I think there's room for this stuff. Back 4 Blood sort of tried and failed. So if somebody can recapture that Left 4 Dead energy, maybe this game
that
can.
really did kind of just fall.
Oh, it did,
wayside,
Trio.
yeah.
I don't want to talk about it. I got all those achievements. Don't ask. Harry Potter Quidditch Champions reveal trailer. This is getting a release date of September 3rd. It's on all platforms. Trio Quidditch was canceled in Hogwarts Legacy.
Because of this. Because of this. No, I think.
How do you feel?
First off, I genuinely do believe that. I think
You think it got canceled because of this game?
I don't think they got No, I think they started working on a Quidditch mini game for Hogwarts Legacy. And we're like, oh, this is much more involved than we were expecting.
Absolutely.
Let's just make it its own thing. All right, but what about...
This isn't like Avalanche. I don't know.
Oh, no, again, this is my headcanon. I'm sure it's not genuine. I think it kind of was part of their process to be like...
being funny.
Well, but also, I do think they were like, well, we don't want to put like a dumbed down, shitty version of Quidditch in Hogwarts Legacy if on this other side we're making like an in-depth, almost maybe even NBA level, like, NFL level Madden type of experience, but for Quidditch. All right, well, then let's not give them the shitty version in Hogwarts Legacy. Yeah. Let's hold that off.
And I mean, this doesn't look like it's that.
Right, yeah.
Like, it's kind of like kiddie graphics, like Harry Potter, and like, that era of characters are in it.
Yeah.
I think this does have the potential to kind of fill that hole and be good, but also give tips to Avalanche for when they do Hogwarts Legacy 2 and they do put Quidditch in, because that is like priority number one for them is to do Quidditch.
Dude, did you know Quidditch was canceled this year?
Canceled?
I'm trying to do an English accent. It's not going very well.
Your joke wasn't that funny. Let's just move
on. Let's
just move on. Cuff Bus reveal trailer. This is from the creator of Choo Choo Charles. This is a co-op prison break game with some cute bears. Release window 2025. Maybe, I don't know, to be honest, on PC. That was in the trailer. That's why I put that there.
Love it.
Looks kind of interesting. These kind of games that are like Among Us and Lethal Company, I think hit real hard if they hit real hard.
Absolutely.
And they're kind of in the zeitgeist for a little bit. I think this has that kind of potential. Choo Choo Charles, I remember hearing about. I don't even know what it is.
Choo Choo Charles, yeah.
Do you know who Choo Choo Charles is?
Not at all. I never heard of it.
You never seen like the thumbnail of him? You may have.
I probably have if you show it to me, but yeah.
Let's move on.
Yep.
Star Wars Outlaws trailer. We're gonna save our big talk for the Ubisoft show.
Sounds good. Yeah.
And I even put that in here. We did see Lando. We did see Jabba the Hutt. We did see Jawas. Xbox Series X and S, PC, PS5, August 30th, 2024 release date. Let's talk about that more later.
Wow, that's that soon?
Yeah, dude.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Wait, because that was like was this the first time they announced the actual solid date? Or had they announced? Because I remember it was 2024.
When they announced
for a while,
Outlaws, they announced the date.
All right, that's cool. That's cool. I really didn't realize that was that. I totally missed that.
Ubisoft Massive.
Yeah, massive.
We got a gameplay trailer from Neva. I remember this game because I thought it was really cute. We got it from the PlayStation Showcase last year. From the creators of Grease, you play as a woman who bonds with a wolf cub and goes on a journey across a magical world. Side-scroller action game, release window of 2024 on all platforms. Looks cool. Well, one of those indie games that get caught the eye.
Absolutely.
Anything?
No, nothing for me.
How about Civilization 7? We got a teaser trailer for our next Sid Meier Civ game. Full reveal later this summer. Release window of 2025 on PC and consoles. And we got a little message from Sid Meier.
He's not dead?
No.
Oh.
I think if Sid Meier was dead, you would have known about it.
Who is Sid? Is he just the developer? Like
he made the first
one?
Yeah. I don't know. You know, it's funny. Like, how do you get your name on the front of a game? Because I think when people like talk about Sid Meier's Civilization. Just like Warren Spector's like another one of those person.
Right.
Deus Ex, Spore.
Interesting.
Like, I don't think Ken Levine's gonna put his name on the front of Judas.
Or even like, yeah, you're right.
But like there are some of those games that. But I hear it.
That's interesting.
Have you ever played Civilization?
Nah.
Like,
I've never been a big management resort. Like, what would you even call it? Like sim?
It's an RTS.
Yeah,
it's just like a civilization
Simulator.
society.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, RTS. Gandhi's nuking people. That kind of thing.
Right.
Black Myth Wukong cinematic trailer. Release date August 20th, 2024. PC and PS5 and Xbox Series X and S at a later date. For a game that's coming out so soon, I'm curious why we just saw a cinematic trailer for this. I mean, we've seen this game a few times. I don't know if you have any interest in this one.
Not really.
I don't really know. I know like Penza was really into it, friend of the show.
Right.
Shout out Matt Penza. How you doing? I like some people in our Discord were like, "Ooh, Wukong," and I'm like, "Okay."
Yeah. No, it didn't stick out to me.
Only Human launch trailer from Starry Studios. This is a sci-fi fantasy shooter with a release date of July 9th, 2024 on PC. I have to give it to Geoff. Like, we have a lot of indie games in this, but like when you're showing an indie game that comes out in like a few weeks, I think that's only good for the company because it's not gonna like vanish from your mind.
Right, it's true.
You can probably go to the store page and pre-order that.
That's true.
And I think Geoff really showcased. He got a lot of shit. He gets a lot of shit all the time. Of
course he does.
My man Geoff.
Yeah.
I'm your best buddy, man.
Just come on the podcast. We can talk about it.
Yeah, I'll talk to Geoff any time of the day. He had indies, a lot of them, and do you want to shit on a show? But like, you shit on him for one thing. He talked about the layoffs at the start. I don't know if you saw like the very beginning.
I missed that. Yeah.
He just kind of talked about like it's a tumultuous time. Like, didn't have like a very like not like a very like political response or anything like that. But like kind of
Like,
just
fuck studios.
stated the fact that like it's been a rough year for video games. And yeah, just kind of stated it. But you know, I think there's a lot of like AAA games and a lot of indie games. But I just wanted to point that out here.
No, it's good stuff.
Warhammer 40K Space Marine 2 gameplay trailer from Saber and Focus Entertainment. Release date September 9th, 2024. PC, PS5, Xbox, Trio. Warhammer?
Looks pretty
Question mark?
Warhammer! Exclamation point. I like
Yeah,
it. Yeah,
you get this.
I'm 75% yes.
Did you play the first one?
No.
That came out in like the 360 era.
So is that really how far back it was? Because I know
Yeah.
Warhammer, obviously, they do like that's mostly a tabletop game,
Yeah.
right? Yeah. So I'm very interested. It looks good. It looks well made. It looks like a competent and interesting third-person shooter set in a world I don't know much about that looks pretty wild. So I think I'll check it out for sure. Right now, it's definitely on the list.
Yeah. Metaphor Refantasio is up next for a gameplay trailer from Atlas, creators of Persona. We got a little on-stage discussion, but then we got right into the gameplay, excuse me. A little blurb about the game. The United Kingdom of Uchronia is in turmoil after the assassination of its king and now the release of the Royal Magic. Now Royal Tournament is Tournament. Am I a Tweety Bird? Is being held to decide the new king, but the prince isn't as dead as everyone thinks. This is a release date of October 11th, 2024. PC, PS4, PS5, and Xbox Series X and S. There are a few PS4 games in this mix, which I thought was interesting. Not a lot of Xbox One, but a few PS4 games.
Yeah, that is interesting.
This is the first new IP from Atlas we have had in a while, so that this is a pretty big deal. They're kind of like breaking off of Persona and Shin Megami Tensei. I know you're not a Persona guy. I know we have a lot of people in our community who are, so they're going to be totally digging that. But
let us know what you think in the comments.
Yeah, absolutely. Trail, let's get negative.
All right.
Batman Arkham Shadow cinematic trailer from Camouflage, the creators of Iron Man VR and Republic, two other VR games. This is a Meta 3 exclusive
your
VR
exclusive
title.
is in the wrong part there.
Rat King #1 is going to be our villain. There's a gameplay trailer for this coming up at Gamescom. We have no release window. Trio, how do you feel about the Arkhamverse being bastardized?
I guess points to them for using the Rat King, because like you could easily just be like, we're gonna do the Joker again,
right?
But many negative points to them for this being a VR game.
Yeah.
Like no one's gonna play.
What a nasty taste.
I just don't care.
I think if Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League was like a good game and like the Arkhamverse was on top, I think this would be like, oh, makes sense. There is already an Arkham VR game. I forget what it's called off the top.
And
of my
that was
head.
made by Rocksteady. I'm pretty confident.
And it was like kind of at the advent of VR.
And I think it was like the game they made actually like right after Arkham Knight. And then it apparently I think was pretty good, but yeah, I could not care less, Gooch. They just messed with my boy so much, and Suicide Squad Kills the Justice League was apparently just an unsurmountable just failure, $200 million loss for WB. I don't revel in that at all, but it's like, guys, what did you think was going to happen?
Yeah, I mean, without giving my... I guess I'll give my opinion. I mean, I agree with you is basically what I was going to say. I don't know. I just think you're not in the... This isn't a good time and place for this. you're just gonna get people who hate on it.
Yeah.
Not because the game is bad, but just
necessarily,
because
but like, yeah,
this is what you're doing with this Arkham series. It's a bit pathetic.
yeah, I agree, 1000%.
Next up, we have Street Fighter 6 Year 2 roster trailer. We're getting M. Bison in summer 2024, Terry in autumn 2024, Elena in spring 2025, and May in winter of 2025. Next up, Tears of Metal reveal trailer from Paper Cult. It's a roguelike co-op hack and slash game set in Scotland. No release window, on PC. Dragon Ball Sparking Zero gameplay. It's a DBZ 3D fighter, and I think it has some it's like I was listening to somebody talk about it who probably knows what they're talking about. I forget who, but they were talking about how like it is more than just like your typical like anime fighter fare. Like there's like a story to it and like dialogue choices and stuff like that. I'm like, okay, I know we got Kakarot and stuff like that, and that kind of
that was definitely more of an RPG, like straight up almost, yeah,
right.
Or at least third person like open world game.
Release date of October 11th, 2024. PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Delta Force Hawk Ops reveal trailer from Team J. This is an extraction mode FPS with large-scale combat. They're doing a Black Hawk Down mode that recreates moments from Ridley Scott's film. Global alpha test in July 2024. No release window, and it's on PC. You kind of see some shooters like this, especially from foreign devs, and kind of go, yeah, you know? That's kind of what this seems like. Like, again, I would love for a new FPS to kind of come on the scene and be like, good.
Delta Force was like one of the originals, I feel like.
Yeah, that's what exactly this is.
Yeah, so it's interesting. One of my earliest gaming memories that I have is of my brothers like talking about Delta Force and playing Delta Force. Like, that was one of the earliest times I remember hearing about video games. So it's interesting to have this be coming back, and they seem to be trying to do a lot here. I don't know how successful they'll be.
Right.
But, wish them all the best.
The Black Hawk Down thing is kind of cool.
Yeah. So they're working with Ridley Scott?
I don't think so. They must have just gotten the rights. There's no way Ridley Scott's like, yeah.
No way Ridley came on board. Yeah.
Ridley? Nah.
No way.
My boy Scott. Yeah. Fatal Fury City of the Wolves gameplay trailer. We haven't seen this game in a while, but it's coming on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Release window of 2025. Any affinity with the Fatal Fury series?
Not at all. I don't even know what it is.
It's like a beat 'em up. No, it's a fighting game series, not a beat 'em up. I'm thinking of like Double Dragon. Battle Crush trailer. This is a top-down hack and slash. Releases July 27th, 2024 on Switch, PC, and mobile. Mecha Break. This is a Gundam-like game with a closed beta in August 2024 on PC. This is interesting, and I really want to have a meaty conversation about this one. Blumhouse Games released a slate of a bunch of horror games, and they phrased it as like different flavors of horror. So we have Fear the Spotlight from Cozy Game Pals. This is a third-person horror puzzle game with like a 90s horror feel. Project C from Brendan Cronenberg, director, screenwriter, mostly recently did Infinity Pool.
Cronenberg's son.
Yeah. Sam Barlow, who was the game designer on Immortality, that Netflix game that won a bunch of Game of the Year awards. Remember that?
No, I don't, actually. I'd have to look into it.
Okay. Well, thanks. But nothing was shown for that. We have Chrysal Theater of Idols from Vermilia Studios. This is like an FPS with puppets. Grave Seasons from Perfect Garbage. I think this was the one that kind of caught my eye. It's a Stardew game, but it has a murder mystery aspect to it. I'm like, okay, that's kind of cool. Sleep Awake from Eyes Out. This is a psychological walking sim from the gameplay. The Simulation from Play Game Studios. This is basically like a game dev is making like a game, and the game is like a horror game, and it's like
very meta.
Yeah, that kind of thing. So they got on stage and they were talking about it. Blumhouse, one of the guys from Blumhouse, was like, different flavors.
Jason Blumhouse.
Is that his name?
That's the guy who leads it. Yeah.
Okay.
If that's him.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. So different flavors of fear. Indies are being given a platform here. There's something for everybody. They talked about it being on both PC and console. Fear the Spotlight is coming out later this year, and they had a full trailer at the Day of the Devs thing, which was like an extension of Summer Game Fest for indies. Trio, does any of this sound interesting to you as a horror guy? Do you like that Blumhouse is kind of supporting some indie games and, bringing some fresh ideas to the horror scene?
Yeah, I'm very interested. I mean, Blumhouse, I think, has a bit of a back and forth reputation with many of the horror elites out there.
Did you watch Five Nights at Freddy's? Do you want to?
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I don't know. What about you?
I would,
but it's not like on my list. Like I'm not like, man, I need to see Five Nights at Freddy's. I don't know. I think Blumhouse, they have some really good movies. They have some really crappy movies. I could see that being the same spectrum with their video games. The 90s one sounds somewhat interesting to me. But also, I do think that Grave Seasons from Perfect Garbage does sound especially interesting to me, too. I like the idea of a murder mystery, Stardew style.
There were a few games that had, like, Stardew but to them. Like, I'm like, that's interesting, because I feel like a lot of people love that genre, so spicing it up with something new, I feel like could lead to success.
I think it's very approachable for a lot of new gamers, too. So
yeah, I think this is pretty cool.
I do too.
Again, I think this is for like a very certain kind of gamer, certain kind of person, certain kind of fan. I think there are a lot of gamers who are also horror fans, so pretty cool initiative overall.
Absolutely.
Mighty Morphing Power Rangers Rita's Rewind reveal trailer from Digital Eclipse. This is a retro beat 'em up, obviously using the Power Rangers IP. No release window on PC. Anything, Trio? Not a Power Rangers guy?
Oh, I enjoyed Power Rangers a lot, but like, yeah, looks fine.
Did you play Shredder's Revenge?
No.
Okay.
Oh, it's from the. Is this?
No,
a remake
but it's
of
like that.
Okay, interesting. But this is a new game.
Yes.
Okay, I didn't know if it was like.
No, not a
were
remaster.
those
Shredder's Revenge was a remaster.
That's what I thought. Okay,
but I'm just kind of.
I see.
Yeah.
Right.
Deer and Boy reveal trailer from Lifeline Game Studio. This is a limbo-like game, a touching game about a boy. That sounded like Trump right there. Limbo-like game, touching game.
Touching about a boy.
About a boy and a deer exploring a world being invaded by magic. We'll see the deer grow as you play. No release window, PC. Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 gameplay trailer from Warhorse Games. Takes place in the 15th century Bohemia amidst a civil war. Continues Henry's adventure from the first game, 2 times as big as that as well. More expansive story, new weapons like crossbow and early firearms. Reactive world, meaning people will treat you differently depending on how you act in public. There's a release window for 2024, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Obviously, if you listen to the beginning of the show, I talked about how I'm playing the first game, so I'm definitely excited for this. I kind of got to give them a lot of credit for coming out this year, revealing this game this year, and hopefully launching it this year. But it is kind of scary that they don't have a date and it's coming out this year, right?
It's just a release window.
There's not a lot of time left. We're like almost halfway through the year.
No, it's true. You would assume that they would give us something. We're in the halfway through the year at this point almost. We're almost halfway there at the very least. So, yeah, that is an interesting point. I'm excited too.
So, are you going to be going back to Kingdom Come? Or
I would like to go back and try the end.
Too?
The first one, I think really the combat just alienated me a lot, unfortunately. I just kept dying every time I was getting absconded by someone. So it was a little annoying, but it's a very well-made game. It has very interesting art direction. I think cozy is the word you used earlier. I think that's a very good way to describe it. Has a lot of similarities, in my opinion, to like a Red Dead-ish type deal.
Reminds me of Pentiment a lot because it's in the same time period, but like those kind of vibes.
Right. I enjoyed it. I definitely think I want to give Kingdom Come another, roll of the dice, if you will.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, I'm excited. Slitterhead gameplay trailer from Bake Game Studio from Kenshiro Toyama, creator of Silent Hill and Forbidden Siren. This is a third-person horror game focused around parasites. It's linear. There's no side quests, no shops, no open world, anything like that. Looking at a 15-hour experience. November 8th, 2024. PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Looks interesting. The name alone, just from being a Sacred Symbols fan, is
Slitterhead.
Yeah, like
that's funny.
Like such a weird name. But I think coming out and being like, hey, like this is this kind of game, I think is advantageous at this point. Saying that your game is like a 15-hour game and you're kind of in and out. I don't know. I feel like that's a good like bag. Because I feel like a lot of people aren't looking for like 100-hour plus like open world things. Like
not all the time for sure.
This kind of game gives me similar vibes to Ghostwire Tokyo, and I guess when comparing them to them, I'm like, oh, it must be open world. You know, I think like you immediately kind of go to that place, so it's good that they're kind of like
nipping at the bud.
Being like, hey, like this is what kind of game this is. Expect this, not this.
Right.
Any interest?
No. Not really.
Nope, fuck it.
No,
I was gonna move. I was gonna move on. I was just pregnant pausing.
Yeah.
Killer Bean reveal trailer. This is a human-driven third-person shooter with Max Payne-like slow-mo combat. Early access, summer 2024. Cairn reveal trailer from The Game Bakers. This is a survival climber game inspired by family history of one of its developers. No release window. Thought this looked pretty cool. It was like somebody like literally climbing a mountain and like that's the gameplay.
Right.
Kind of reminded me of like Death Stranding, like, you know, those kind of like vibes and experience. But
definitely,
the dev was like talking about how like their dad was like an alpinist and like he led an expedition and like a lot of people died. I'm like, that's okay.
That's pretty wild.
Interesting. Kind of, yeah, just kind of like liked the cut of its jib, to be honest. Wonder Stop reveal trailer from Annapurna and Ivy Road. From Davey Warden, creator of the Stanley Parable and Beginner's Guide. It's a Stardew-like game around making tea, and the main character has a dark side with a sprinkle of PTSD. I don't know if you remember this one.
I don't think I do.
They're like coping, like they're kind of talking about how they make the tea and stuff, and then they go, everything's fine, and then she starts like cracking, like there's something,
right? Like
she's kind of like repressing something. So this comes out. It has a release window of late 2024 on PC and PS5. Unknown 9 Awakening from Reflector and Bandai Namco. Go on a magical journey as Haruna, as a quaster who has the ability to travel to strange dimension known only as the Fold. This is a game with an Indian culture influence. Release window of autumn 2024. PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X, PC. And Tora, the last song cinematic trailer from it's either Jiyama or Yama Games. Souls-like game with an Italian edge. The demo's been out for a little while now, so I know we've talked about it in the Discord a few times. September 19th, 2024, PC and PS5. I like the Italian representation. I don't know if you remember this trailer or have seen gameplay of this, but
I don't think I do.
It's literally like a Souls game in like a Renaissance Italy town.
Oh, cool.
It's pretty cool. And for a genre that is so many people are trying to do it, it's cool to see like a different kind of aesthetic and culture be used in a game instead of just like, you know, the Dark Souls kind of thing.
No, absolutely. I think Lies of P especially kind of showed that too. I mean, it was definitely very, you know, Bloodborne-ish adjacent, if you will, but it's still definitely kind of, yeah, it's a Pinocchio, yeah.
The First Descendant cinematic trailer from Nexon. This is a sci-fi third-person shooter. You become a descendant, a group tasked with preserving humanity. Solo and 4-player co-op. Release date July 2nd, 2024 on PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S. Outer Sloth. This is a bit of a different one. From Inner Sloth, creators of Among Us. This is a new indie game fund, and they showcase games shown. They showcase some games that they are funding using this game fund that you can apply for. The games shown were Mars First Logistics, Battlesuit Aces, Mossfield Archives, One Button Bosses, Rogue Eclipse, and Project Dosa. I don't know if you have anything to say about this per se, but it's cool to see like a very successful indie fund other indies.
No, that is cool.
I think that like that camaraderie in the industry probably now more than ever is needed when, you know, layoffs are happening and games are like big bloated messes. You can get like, you know, you can have another indie help you fund your indie, and it's kind of like you're keeping it small all around, right, instead of like, you know, EA kind of did that with like Haze Light in the beginning, where they're like a smaller studio but like with EA budgeting them. So
right,
I guess it's kind of a different way to kind of do it, right?
Makes sense.
Among Us animated series trailer. This is like the only movie thing in this, but since it's game related, I put it in here. This is a animated series from CBS Studios with an A-list voice cast from Patton Oswalt, Wayne Knight, Randall Park, among a lot of others. I assume Trio has no interest in this.
Sadly not.
No,
not really.
I don't either.
Yeah.
Sonic X Shadow Generations first look trailer from Sega, remaster of Sonic Generations with new Shadow content. So not just a remaster, but they're adding a bit more to it.
Right.
October 25th, 2024, PC, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X, and Switch. We're not Sonic fans.
No.
Sorry.
Not really.
Sorry. But we know you Sonic fans will go nuts for this.
Absolutely.
But I know something Trio is a fan of. Dune Awakening cinematic trailer from Level Infinite. We had no gameplay again. So the game takes place in a reality born where Paul was never born. We get a big, you know, kind of like monologue from him about like, here's the things that didn't happen, and what if this didn't happen, and what if that didn't happen. This is an open world survival MMO, no release window, PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Trio, what do you think?
I mean, it's a cool idea. I think the premise itself makes sense. Like the idea, of it's a universe where Jessica had the child she was supposed to have. She didn't have Paul, and it sounds like a good kind of setup for what the game will be. And
right, because I did think that was weird. Like, how do we do a survival MMO with Dune? Like,
right,
you know.
But it looks very intriguing. But like there's no gameplay yet.
We've
seen like interspersed stuff throughout other trailers that's been gameplay, but like not extended stuff to where you can really make a decision. These were the guys who I think did Conan Exile, so I think that had a pretty big following for a little while. So I don't know. I think they have the chops to do it, and I think it could be very cool if they pull it off. I'll play the shit out of it. 100%, even if it's an MMO.
Yeah. I would like it to be good. you know, I think this has some potential and seems like it could be fun, especially getting in with that IP as we have this past year. You know,
right?
Battle Ace's cinematic trailer and gameplay trailer from Uncapped Games. This is a mobile RTS game with a closed beta in the near future. The final Season 3 trailer, we got a new arena coming to the game with the setting of Kyoto in 1568, new ranked mode called Terminal Attack, new loadouts, gadgets, weekly tournaments with Japanese-inspired maps and skins. This is as a release date of June 13th, 2024, which is day of recording, which is interesting. Alan Wake 2 Night Springs DLC reveal trailer. We talked about this earlier. We had 3 episodes. You play as Rose, Jesse Faden, and Tim Breaker. This is included in the deluxe version of the game with a release date of June 8th, 2024, which means you can play it now. And Trio physical editions of Alan Wake 2 are coming.
But it's only the fucking
limited
special
run.
edition, and it's a limited run. What if someone just wants to buy the regular version of the game? This stuff really is fucking annoying. I'm not gonna lie. Like, I don't know what we're doing. Just release your game physically. Why can't we do that anymore? Well, why can't they just have Alan Wake 2 sitting on a fucking shelf? Unacceptable. I hate it. But anyways, that's that.
Is that really how you feel?
That is genuinely about the physical edition. Because like, and then it's like it's late, so now it's like, what? I already bought the game, so you want me to buy it again?
Right.
Do this when you're releasing the game.
I have to admit, I'm like, I want that collector's edition.
I do too, but no.
Loved Alan Wake.
I already bought it.
We would definitely buy it again to support it.
I can't buy. I already bought the $50 version. I can't buy another $70 version just to support them. Like just to have. Like I don't know. At this point, like I want to. I'll buy it probably when it's on sale. But that's the other thing. How am I supposed to get it on sale now? So I don't know. That really annoys me. But it's cool they did the DLC.
Yeah, I'm sure. I'm curious if like the digital upgrade goes on sale. Because there's got to be that option for somebody with the regular version when the season pass is bundled into that version. Right,
exactly. I don't know. It just seems like a very weird way to tackle this to me. Alan Wake 2 is great, but I don't like that.
And the DLC is fun. I played it and beat it and finished it. So, New World Eternum reveal trailer from Amazon Games. Big update, full single player mode, cross-play, coming to PS5. Wasn't on console before, to be clear. And it's coming to Xbox. But release date, October 15th, 2024. On, all the platforms I just said. Honkai Star Rail Farewell Piconi update. This is coming June 19th, 2024. Dark and Darker reveal trailer. This is a first-person dungeon delver, free on PC now. Oh, God. Kunitsugami, Path of the Goddess.
Kunitsu.
Reveal trailer from Capcom. This is a hack-and-slash tower defense game with Japanese mythology theme coming on July 19th, 2024 to PC, PS5, Xbox Series X and S. Hyperlight Breaker reveal trailer, colorful hack and slash game with co-op campaign, release window of late summer on PC. Skate gameplay. We got a little skit from Tim Robinson with M Corp, and then we got to see a little bit of the game, and we got told that the console playtesting will begin this fall. Trio, Skate fan, Tim Robinson fan, where you at?
I mean, they seized right on that Tim Robinson thing. I'll give them a lot of credit for that.
Yeah, I thought
like that's been
funny.
Recent. Like I feel like everyone's been like I feel like I keep seeing that on Twitter. Like Tim Robinson can actually skate, but I like skate a lot. I think this could be really cool. I hope it's very cool. They seem to have been working on it for a while.
I feel like this is a game that's going to get drug out for a while because it's already getting drug out. They keep being like, it's going to come when it's going to come. It's like, you got to stop with that messaging. I feel like it just like...
I mean, I just feel like everyone now is like... This
likes
thing
to be like meta and be like, it comes when it comes.
Well, no, but they like to just tell you when they're starting to make a game now, all the time. Like it's like with Blade. They're like, here's early concept art.
When we get to Prince of Persia, we're gonna have a great talk about that. That's what I mean.
Like it's like, oh, we're working on it. Okay, and they did this without. Like, I think it makes sense with certain things. Like I get everyone, in a lot of rightful ways bashes on Bethesda for that like Elder Scrolls 6 trailer in the way back, but it's like, yeah, of course they're working on it. Duh. It's like if Grand Theft Auto 6, I'll give them a lot of credit. They held that for a long time, but we all knew it was being worked on. You know what I mean?
Right.
Now we've just gotten to this point where like they're like, we're starting to work on this.
Sometimes I disagree with you on stuff. Like when it came to like Death Stranding, I remember we've had a few conversations where you thought like Death Stranding's dev cycle was like too long, and I was like, nah, it was fine. I kind of liked what they were doing. But when it's like a Prince of Persia or like, maybe Perfect Dark isn't in this category anymore because we just got a whole bunch of gameplay from that. So it's like, okay, it's like there.
Like it's real. Yeah.
But yeah, it's like like Prince of Persia, just to skip ahead, it's like, I remember when that got announced, we saw nothing and we got like no window. And then we saw it again and we saw nothing and we got 2026.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
That's 2 years away.
Yeah.
Are you fucking nuts?
What have you guys been doing?
Yeah.
What's been going on?
Like, I mean, but that game has had
we didn't hear about Splinter Cell.
Is there?
There's a remake happening. They announced a remake like last year for Splinter Cell. Like
they did?
Yeah, remember? Yeah, they announced a full-on remake.
I don't remember.
That's
because I remember people when the UB Forward was done, they're like, no Splinter Cell.
Yeah, Splinter Cell remake. Hold on.
Anyway,
keep going.
Bring that up or confirm it. Power World gets its first major update. It's called Sukara Jima. Japanese island inspired, new builds, new level cap, new subspecies, new raid, dedicated Xbox servers, June 27th, 2024. Did you play Power World?
No, I popped it in for like a second.
Okay.
Yes, it's supposed to be being made by Ubisoft Toronto. It was announced like 2 years ago.
Okay.
But I think the lead developer left, like the team
head.
lead, the team head or something. So I don't know. Anyways,
anything on Power World?
Nah.
Valorant coming to PS5 and Xbox Series X. Limited beta on June 14th, 2024, which would have passed by the time you're listening to this. I think it's interesting that Valorant is finally coming to console. It's a pretty popular game, and it took long enough to get over here. Not sure. It's kind of like when Counter-Strike came to console. I feel like that was a big moment, but ultimately, like, if you play Counter-Strike Go, you're playing on PC.
Right.
So, like, it's a different day and age. There's crossplay. We'll see.
Sure.
I think that's good, but, I think people will probably still play, majority on PC. Monster Hunter Wilds gameplay trailer. We already talked about that, but again, release window 2025. And last but not least from Summer Games Fest, Phantom Blade Zero gameplay trailer, action RPG focused around Chinese martial arts. We have basically this trailer was to announce their world demo tour. You can go hands on it with Summer Game Fest, which is past, so you can't anymore. But they're going to other events during the fall and the summer. I'm really excited for this game. This looks really cool. Everything I've seen about it, like the animations, the action. I don't know anything about this fucking game other than the gameplay looks great.
They showed this before?
Yeah, we've seen this like once or twice.
I think I missed watching this one, so I'm gonna have to look
this is like the literal last thing.
Okay. I'll have to check it out. Because if I remember it, I have so many vague memories of it. Okay. I'll have to check it out.
Any comments on Geoff's Summer Game Fest? From me, before Trio goes, I think Geoff did a good job. He can't control if he has the greatest third-person games under the sun. There was a lot fucking here. There's a lot to like and enjoy, and everyone's going to be interested in something or maybe nothing. There's a lot of indie titles.
I'd be very surprised if nothing
You got to give
here.
Geoff some credit. He got devs on stage. There were female devs on stage. I remember everyone bitching about him for that. I think he did a good job. But again, it's like just because there's games that you don't play here doesn't mean it's bad.
And if you don't have a female
this was a 2-hour show. It was a lot. It was back to back to back to back to back game. There were like 1 or 2 ads, not a lot of intrusions, not a lot of let's get the celebrity to come out on stage. It was mostly game trailers and stuff. There were a few moments where it cut to Geoff talking about something or introducing something or going on stage with something, but we didn't get like Nick Cage coming out and talking about Dead by Daylight like we did last year, or like a Keanu moment. Like he stuck to it. I mean, like you got to give him some credit there.
I agree. I didn't watch the show live, so I don't really have much to say on the actual show.
I was in a
itself.
house with 19 other guys killing some high noons watching this. That's
good.
I decided to go off in the corner. I'm like, I'm going to go watch this for 2 hours.
No, it's good.
Nobody noticed I was gone. I came back and,
and there you
started pounding them.
Yeah, no, I think he cast a wide net, and, you know, if there isn't something there for you, I don't know what to tell you. It's short and sweet on me on that one, to be honest.
I mean, we went through a lot of games we skipped over, but, like, you know, I'm glad you kind of have that opinion, because I don't think there was, like, a ton of trio games here.
I will say, yeah, like, the Xbox Showcase is definitely where my bag was at, for sure.
I mean,
so we'll talk about that
Let's get into it right now.
Yeah, so
I think let's first start off by saying I think this is the best showing Xbox has ever had, ever.
It's definitely been the best one in a long ass time.
It's so funny how we're just like so back and forth on Xbox. Like now they're back. You know, we saw some games. The Hand trio.
I mean, they're back, but they still are facing the exact same issues we were talking about on the last podcast.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, so
I kind of meant it as a joke more than I was being.
But
serious.
I would actually, I would agree with you in a lot of ways of like, yeah, there were a lot of games here that I am very
really
excited for. So yeah, I'm excited.
And let's get into one that I'm kind of interested in. Call of Duty Black Ops 6. We got the gameplay reveal trailer from Treyarch and Raven Software. Our setting is the early 90s. This is going to be a day one on Game Pass, as was leaked. We got some it's going to have campaign, multiplayer, and a new zombies experience. 16 new maps at launched. The campaign is going to be after Cold War, like the game Cold War.
Right.
And our release date is October 25th, 2024. I really like how they're kind of targeting like conflicts during our lifetime. I feel like more FPS has got to get down and dirty with like stuff
because even
happened.
the 90s isn't even really our lifetime, which is funny. But like
it's right,
you know what I mean? Like
right.
It's 30 years on now, you know. So I mean, it makes sense. It kind of lines up with where we are, like societally, like even back when we were doing in the 2010s. Like it was a lot of Vietnam, a lot of World War II, you know. So I think we are hitting that point where that stuff starts to be explored.
Yeah. Are you interested in Black Ops 6? Like,
I mean, it's on Game Pass, so I'll probably download it. Why wouldn't I? Like, you know what I mean?
It's a big get for them. But we've talked about.
And I will
before.
say that's going to be make or break for the service, like 1,000%. If that doesn't get them the numbers they need, nothing will. And I still do.
Yeah, I think
you know what
right.
I mean. Like,
yeah,
that's fair to say.
Yeah, I think that's.
And I still think
this is the game.
This is the game.
This is the game.
So like. And, you know, I still think they're running into a lot of issues with then still getting a lot of the console base who already has a PlayStation to then purchase an Xbox to then purchase Game Pass. That's a big buy-in. But this is the make or break moment for it. And I think it looks good. I think it could be really interesting. I like the new zombie maps. There's 2 like round-based zombie maps launching at start. I hope the campaign is more than just what the Modern Warfare 3 bullshit was.
They did it. We're not covering it, but they did like a Black Ops Direct. They have never done anything like that before, where they're talking about like what they're doing different with this Call of Duty and how they're changing things up.
No, it definitely felt like there was a lot going on.
Like it seems like Xbox really was like, "Hey, listen, Treyarch, you've never done this before, but I think if you do this, it's going to be advantageous for you, and it's going to make you guys look good because you're going to actually like talk about Call of Duty instead of just like putting the game out."
Just be like, "Oh, it's Call of Duty again."
Yeah,
and I don't think there's a ton of major changes besides like the omnidirectional.
But it's cool to hear like Call of Duty devs talk about these games. Like they're big games, like they're big money makers. So they're I feel like they're acting like it. Xbox is setting them up to act like this
as
is a
they
big
should.
deal.
Yeah, no, for sure.
Next up, we got a game that leaked before, but I think we were all hype nonetheless. Doom: The Dark Ages reveal trailer. Doom is getting medieval. Guns remain, but shields are coming in. We get to dual wield dragons, mechs, release window 2025 trio. I think this is just what Doom needed.
I mean, it looks great. It
Very
looks
Hexen
exactly what I was
vibes.
expecting it to. It's that techno future medieval thing that was very heavily introduced, or felt like it was very heavily in the lore with especially Eternal.
I'm gonna play Eternal soon. It's like I'm gonna play Resident Evil Revelations 2 before that, but like Doom Eternal is next.
Right.
So I'm gonna get around to that. I'll be ready for the Dark Ages in 2025.
Absolutely, it looks fantastic.
Hype. State of Decay 3 teaser trailer from Undead Labs. We saw this game 4 years ago. It's been a while. Gameplay-ish. I watched the cinematic trailer. It kind of looks like gameplay, but it kind of doesn't. No release window. Any experience with State of Decay?
I like State of Decay 2 a lot.
Okay.
A lot of inventory management, like people management, survival. It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, we're not going to fully talk about Dragon Age here, but we did see I'm calling it the companion trailer for the Veilguard, which is our new name for Dragon Age Dreadwolf. We started off with Varric Tethris, a veteran from Dragon Age 2 and Inquisition, and Scoutmaster Harding returning from Dragon Age Inquisition. She's played by Ali Hillis, who plays Liara. But she is going to be a fully playable character, which is cool.
Right.
And we got introduced to all our companions: Neve, the detective, Lucanus, the mage killer, Balara, the veil jumper, Emmerich, the necromancer, Davron, the warden, and Tash, the dragon hunter. And of course, your name is Rook, I think. I'm not exactly sure if that's your title or your name.
I'm assuming that's like the nickname they give you when you have your real name.
Right, like they called you the Inquisitor in Inquisition.
Right, yeah.
But I'm really excited for Dragon Age. I think this trailer was a bit odd, like tonally, but like it's weird. Dragon Age has always done this, where like their trailers are like much different from the actual game. Not that the trailer is like lying. It's just like the tone is just weird.
Right.
If I showed you like Dragon Age Origins trailers to the actual game, you'd be like, "What the fuck is this?
Yeah, what's going on?"
Yeah. Are you excited?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. And we'll talk about it more when we get to the full gameplay.
Yeah, it's
trailer.
literally the last thing we're gonna talk about.
Yeah, we'll get into it more when we get into that.
Starfield Shattered Space expansion trailer from Bethesda. We're going deep into the story of House Faroon, which was absent from the original game.
Excited.
Looks like a darker tone. Our release window is this year. New content is out now. New locations, new gear, bounties, and custom content trio. Are you excited to Shatter Space?
I am. I'm very excited to jump back in. I was messing around with it. The mods are all in now too, which is cool.
I want to try to jump into Starfield this summer and kind of like start New Game Plus and kind of prep myself for Shattered Space. And there's a lot of Starfield I haven't seen yet, and I put it down.
No, absolutely.
So I'm excited to get back to it. I think this DLC looks cool.
I think it does too. I like the idea of exploring Varun. That was, like you said, something we didn't get much of in the main campaign. It's explored a little bit. You know, you go to like the embassy and stuff like that with Andreja and all that good stuff. But I'm really excited. I'm pumped.
A game that doesn't want to die. Fallout 76 Skyline Valley launch trailer.
People don't let it die, Gooch. People are playing it.
I know. We're expanding the game map for the first time, and it's going to be Shenandoah National Park.
Shenandoah.
Are you familiar?
The song. It's like Blue Ridge Mountain, Shenandoah River.
I never knew that's what they say.
Life is old there. Older than the trees. But yeah, that's
Country Road. Okay.
We're going down that country road, Gooch.
Yeah. So we're investigating the cause of an electrical storm circulating overhead to unveil the mystery around Vault 63, where they will meet its dwellers and discover a shocking new ghoul type, the Lost. We get to play as a ghoul for the first time since, I think, Brotherhood of Steel, Fallout Brotherhood of Steel, which was like a spin-off game.
Right, yeah, it's like a tactical shooter.
I think that's something probably people have been asking for since like Fallout 3.
I guess you have to be level 50 to do it, which is interesting. So you have to have been playing for a while, which is cool. I like that idea. I think that's awesome. Yeah. That's really cool.
Yeah, I think that's
very
cool.
And I think that's only something that makes sense in like a 76. Whereas like, I don't know, do you think you could ever make the main character of a Fallout game a ghoul?
No.
Right? Like, or maybe you could give yourself the option to do, like, I don't even know how they'd present that to you, like, story-wise. You know what I mean?
Lore-wise, yeah. And it is out now, so you can play that. This game looks fucking sick. This game looks so fucking good, and I'm about to tell you about it.
No, this is the Final Fantasy looking one, right?
Maybe.
Okay.
It's the one with the painter, and there's like a bunch of like clones, and they're like...
Okay, interesting.
I don't know.
Anyways, yeah.
Hopefully this will jog your memory. Claire Obscure Expedition 33 reveal trailer from Sandfall Interactive. Ben Starr, who played Clive Rossfield in Final Fantasy 16, is the main character and is narrating this trailer. This is a reactive turn-based RPG. You're transported to a beautiful, surrealist new world inspired by France's La Belle Époque, a period of famous...
Mademoiselle.
What?
Nothing.
Jacques Cousteau, is that what you said?
No, I said Mademoiselle.
A period famous for its stunning and lavish contributions to the country's world-renowned culture of art. Expedition 33 opens in the city of Lumiere, the last city of humanity where everyone knows the age when they will die. Once a year, the paintress wakes and paints a number on her monolith. This number represents an age, the age everyone who will soon be erased. Year by year, this number ticks down. More people die, and old age is not so old anymore. Soon the paintress will wake again and paints 33, condemning everyone of that age to a gentle death. But with 1 year left to live, the members of Expedition 33 embark on a quest to destroy the paintress. Release window, 2025 on PC, Xbox, and of course, it's day one on Game Pass. Yeah, this was the one that was like...
It had like Final Fantasy-esque combat,
it was like turn-based.
Right?
Yeah. And I'm like, it looked like Persona,
right?
But like not a JRPG, and I'm like, this looks fucking.
It did look interesting.
Unreal.
It looked interesting
how good
for sure.
This looks. I'm so excited for this. This is a day one get for me. Like Xbox just fucking brought it with like some random IP that like it
looks cool.
It looks so cool.
It does look cool. I'll give that to you 100%.
Another cool game, South of Midnight. We got a gameplay trailer for that from Compulsive Games. The Spider-Verse frame rate is in this. This is the one that it's like, Louisiana Bayou kind of inspired, that kind of thing. Sort of like Princess and the Frog, that kind of aesthetic. Release window from we have a release window of 2025 on PC, Xbox, and day one on Game Pass. Anything?
No, it looks fine. It looks interesting. It looks definitely kind of artsy in certain ways.
Yeah,
for sure.
For sure. World of Warcraft, The War Within, date announced cinematic from Blizzard. We had a recap of the previous expansions because World of Warcraft is an Xbox showcase, so they have to act like maybe people don't know what WoW is. And I thought they were leading up to Xbox being on Game Pass, which I thought was like...
World of Warcraft being...
I'm like, holy shit, it's
would be
fucking
wild.
happening. But it wasn't that. They did use the classic line, "The drums of war thunder once again," which is a line from the first cinematic trailer for vanilla World of Warcraft. New threats, new characters are shown. Release date of August 26, 2024 on PC. Yeah, I was really like, holy shit, they're announcing World of Warcraft is coming to Xbox and Game Pass. Like, that's really what I thought it was.
Right.
I think that would have been a really cool announcement. I think that is still possible, but we're still like soon after the acquisition.
Absolutely.
So maybe they're just not ready to talk about it. I'm going to get some water real quick.
Sounds good.
You have a pregnant pause?
Oh.
Drew's just going to moan in the mic.
Sorry.
It's all good. Let's get into Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater gameplay. Still no release window. And it's pretty much looks exactly what we want it to be, which is a 1-to-1 remake of this game.
Yeah.
They announced that there are going to be classic controls and modern controls.
Nice.
So, yeah, we saw a lot of gameplay. We saw the boss for the first time. Mostly Snake with Zero sort of narrating over, talking about the virtuous mission, stealth mission,
You are naked, as your name implies.
Right, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
So realistically, while it was cool to see, we didn't really get much more from it in terms of like the other characters in the game. I'm excited for this. This looks great.
I agree.
I think like getting it with like that MGS5 gameplay scheme.
Yeah,
is
what are you doing?
awesome.
Yeah,
we talked about this a lot on our E3. But yeah, I'm excited. What's there to be not excited about?
I'm glad we replayed it this year. Honestly, I think it's gonna be cool to get into.
There was like a leaked date of like November 13th of this year from GameStop, but I don't know if that's. I think it got debunked.
Right.
But yeah, we will see. Sea of Thieves is getting a 13th season. That release date is July 25th, 2024 on PC, Xbox, and Game Pass. I guess also PS4, 5 as well. Flintlock, the Siege of Dawn gameplay trailer from A44 Games and Kepler Interactive. We saw this last year. This is an explosive, action-packed Souls-like with a release date of July 18th, 2024. Looks pretty good. It is coming rather soon though, so I feel like I might like miss out on it just because it's coming so soon. But it did look cool. Do you remember this one? It's kind of hard to describe. There was like a female black protagonist.
No, not really.
Okay.
Not gonna lie. This is one I did catch live, but I kind of was coming in and out of it.
It's hard to fucking remember all this shit, especially as somebody who makes the doc. Like there were some games I read off that I could not tell you what that was, and I watched it like twice. But anyway, that's an excuse for Trio. Age of Mythology Retold reveal trailer. This is a remake of the definitive classic RTS. Release date of September 4th on Xbox and PC. Yeah, I said that right, just out of order.
Yep.
Diablo 4 Vessel of Hatred official release date trailer. This is the upcoming expansion for Diablo 4. We got a very gruesome cinematic trailer. Did you watch this?
I did.
Okay.
It looked pretty cool.
It was fucking wild.
Yeah, it was wild.
Leave it to Blizzard. They always blow us away with the cinematic trailers. The description of the game: the battle against hatred has only just begun. Journey into the new world of Nahantu in search of Narelle, who is both suffering the fate of her choice to imprison the primeval Mephisto and seeking a means to destroy him. Become the apex predator of the jungle as an all-new Spiritborn class, recruit mercenaries to aid you in combat, and fight together in a new PvE co-op activities and more. Release date of October 8th, 2024. Did you play Diablo 4?
No.
Okay, I didn't think so.
I don't have any connection to that at all, to be honest.
Yeah, I played 3, and, I tell the story every time I talk about Diablo 3 where... I was in high school, Diablo 3 came out senior year, and I was talked out of getting it on PC. And then I played it recently on PS4, platinumed it like a little before COVID, and then I was like, I realized why I was talked out of getting this.
Right.
So, yeah, I think Diablo 4 just isn't a bag for me. I don't really have any intention of playing it, but cool cinematic trailer.
Absolutely.
Now let's talk about Trio's bag for sure. Perfect Dark got a gameplay reveal trailer from the initiative with the support of Crystal Dynamics. We last saw this game 4 years ago, so it's been a while. It's been absent. This is a reboot of the original, which means you need no prior knowledge to jump into Perfect Dark. Joanne Dark is on a mission in Cairo for Datadyne, who is not perfect but strives to be. Missions present players with an objective, but let them figure out how they want to achieve it. Takes in elements of first-person shooters, immersive sims, parkour, and stealth action. Gadgets are a big pillar in this game. Multiple combat options, lethal, non-lethal weaponry, close-quarters combat, abilities that allow you to take down multiple enemies at once, and more. No release window. This game looks fucking awesome.
Sold. I'm like there. Gooch, you said this in the Discord. You're like, this is a fucking Trio game. And I'm like, yeah, it fucking is. It feels like they took Dishonored, Prey, and a bit of BioShock and
Deus Ex.
And Deus Ex especially. Yeah,
and just, it's the immersive sim energy.
And just it feels very arcane-y to me. Like it gives me a lot of arcane energy, which I appreciate.
Hey man, I know we've been talking about some of Xbox
I know. Well, we
Game
just
Studios devs just kind of being like in the dark and like the initiative has been around for a while.
So good. Yeah, that was one of the first ones that they announced.
But that was like, and we don't have a date or a year. But like that was a meaty slice.
I would
that looked
hope
good.
Next year, based off of what we just saw. I would hope 2025.
Yeah, I mean, hey, look, maybe they come out like early 2025 and tell us late 2025.
Right.
Like, I think that's a good scenario.
I think that game looks amazing. They're taking a ton of elements of games that I adore and meshing it together in a way that looks awesome.
Have you played any of the Perfect Dark games?
No.
Me either.
For my time, for sure.
I mean, definitely before our time, but like, I don't even know anything about it. It's like one of those series I know about. I know it's like a GoldenEye type of game.
Right.
Or maybe GoldenEye was a Perfect Dark kind of game. I actually don't know which came first, the chicken or the egg here.
I think it would be GoldenEye, but yeah.
Yeah, I think GoldenEye was first. But yeah, this looks just fucking great.
Awesome.
I'm excited to kind of like, I like how it's like, hey, like you don't need to know fucking shit.
No,
you can just go into this game, straight, not knowing anything about it.
It really does feel like they've taken their time to kind of etch out what they think this game should be. And that's interesting because didn't Greg Miller the other day say it was like a mess? Or he heard it was like a mess? Someone did. Maybe it wasn't Greg Miller.
No, what did he say that about?
Oh, Wonder Woman. He said that, but then I thought I heard another one about the initiative and like Perfect Dark being all fucked up too, but I don't know.
I think we just kind of assumed that.
Just because we haven't heard it in so long. Makes sense.
Yeah.
Looks awesome. Can't wait.
Another game that looks awesome. Fable. We got a cinematic trailer from Playground Games. Not like a ton to go off of, per se.
Not really at all.
Humphrey is going to be one of our NPCs in the game. He's one of Albion's greatest heroes, but he is in fact retired. We saw some shots of Bowerstone and Fairfax Castle, just like from the other three games. The Guild of Heroes looks like it's going to be a center focus again. We have a female villain with a staff, with kind of reminded me of like Teresa.
Yeah.
Release window of 2025 trio. We haven't seen Fable in like a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you excited?
I'm excited just at the prospect of a new Fable game.
Sure.
I think this looks relatively good from what we're seeing. I don't think there's enough for me yet to really kind of take away like a true kind of idea of what we're gonna get. The small little bits of gameplay that we saw looked cool with the magic and the sword fighting and all that stuff.
Yeah, I mean it wasn't gameplay.
But it seemed like it was, but there was no HUD. There was definitely
maybe I have to go back and look.
I think there is definitely some like true gameplay in there, just HUDless. But yeah, it didn't blow me away, but I want more Fable. Like, it seems like a franchise. It's like, why aren't we doing anything with it? So
yeah.
I hope it's good. I think that this could be promising, but there wasn't enough there to really get my engine revving, if you will. My magnum opus revving, if you will.
Right, from Mad Max.
Thank you.
Well, I wish we had a better game to lead into, but I'm not sure Fragpunk's going to get your
I thought that
rolling.
said something else when I first gleamed at it.
I know what you're saying.
Yeah, so
Fragpunk reveal trailer from NetEase Games. This is a frantic squad-based 5v5 shooter with a release window of 2025 on Xbox and PC. Winterboro reveal trailer from Pine Creek Games. Build your dream burrow and explore a charming, snow-coated open world in Winterboro, a cozy woodland survival game where you play as a mouse. I thought this game looked very cool, and it like I was reading up on it, and it is like Stardew but a mouse, but you're a mouse.
I like it.
I'm like I'm down. Release window of early 2025, Game Pass, PC, Xbox. Mixtape reveal trailer from Beethoven and Dinosaur. They made The Artful Escape. Do you remember this game?
I don't.
It was like a very music-based game, which is what this is. I don't remember
That
the
makes
trailer
sense.
where they're like skateboarding down the road and there's music.
I think I might have missed this one, but it makes sense.
So the premise goes like this. On their last night of high school, three friends embark on one more adventure together en route to their final party together. A perfectly curated playlist draws them into a dreamlike reenactments of their formative memories together. Next up, we have Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024 reveal trailer from Asobo. We got hot air balloons incoming, aerial firefighting, and more with a release date of November 12th, 2024 on PC and Xbox. Trio, you have something to say?
Yes, Gooch, you could not pay me enough money in the world to get in a hot air balloon. I don't know what the fuck people are thinking.
Not even not even Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024.
I mean, maybe Microsoft Flight Simulator 2024, but who's getting in that? You don't control where you land. It just lands where you land.
I think I would get in a hot air balloon.
I wouldn't in a million years. No way. Ugh. Anyways, that's all I have to say on Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Now this caught me off guard, and I'm kind of excited for it. Life is Strange double exposure reveal trailer from Deck 9. They made Before the Storm and True Colors. They Don't Nod kind of gave them the fucking, what's the term? You giving some the wheel.
Oh, right.
They gave them the wheel on Life is Strange. Max is back from the first game, and it looks like her powers have gotten a bit stronger. There's a multiple timeline things here, and one of her friends died, and the idea is, hey, we got to prevent the murder of her friend, and she's jumping between two realities, one where she's alive and one where she's dead.
Spooky.
Release date of October 29th, 2024 on Xbox and PC, and I would probably assume PlayStation, but I can't be sure. Tria, have you ever played Life is Strange?
Nah. Not really much interest.
Life is Strange, I like that first game a lot, and I like that Max Caulfield, who is the protagonist of the first game, is coming back. I didn't really like Life is Strange 2. Before the Storm is pretty interesting because it's an actual prequel to 1, but not with Max, with another character. True Colors was interesting, but like not what I wanted. Yeah, I don't know. It's just like the stories are interesting and kind of fun, but it's like, we're not the series started with one character and now we're not playing as her.
Right.
So I'm kind of glad they're going back to Max.
Makes sense.
Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. We got a nice 5-minute gameplay trailer with mostly just cutscenes, not necessarily gameplay, but definitely cutscenes. Day one on Game Pass, release window 2024.
I thought there was a good bit of gameplay in there, but maybe I was misremembering.
It's mostly cinematic.
I know the last little bit is very cinematic. But it looks
great.
Dude.
What is up with Machine Games and getting like the Nazi games?
I don't know. I think it just worked out. But can I just say I don't think we should be getting this game in a weird way.
You feel like it's like looks too good?
It does. It looks too good. It's for an IP that I don't think, I think we like Indiana Jones, and maybe some people our age and a tiny bit lower and hot, and of course, our dad's generations and things like that. But
I wouldn't say I'm an Indiana Jones fan, but
exactly, that's even proves my point even more. Like, I don't think it's like this like super current RPG or IP, not RPG. So it kind of surprises me, and it does feel like a bit of a love letter in that respect, that like Bethesda and Machine Games would lean into this. I mean, I guess, Uncharted does well and all that type of stuff, and there's Tomb Raider, so it's like, yeah, I mean, those are all based off of Indiana Jones anyways. Why wouldn't this work? But I really love to see it. I think the tone of this was great. The last scene, the choo-choo, like everyone's it's so good. It could not feel like more of an indie movie, and that really excites me. I think the first-person aspect's a great idea to really kind of differentiate itself from it. This feels like a reverse Fallout situation in the way of, like, the Fallout TV series was very much a game going to a TV series, but they treated it as another game, and it has its own story, and it fits squarely within that universe, where it feels like this is very much an indie story that fits within all of the other indie stories, but it's just its own story that we're telling, and we're talking about the Great Circle. And I don't know how you feel about Troy Baker as Indy, but like, he is almost indistinguishable to me.
I appreciate the segue because I was going to talk about him. Yeah, I think this is the most interesting role Troy Baker has ever had in his career.
Because it's an impression. It is.
Yeah, like, it just seems so... I get it. It's just imitating Harrison Ford, but like, it's not like... I don't know. I think I'm just impressed by the imitation.
I am too, because like, I'm telling you, I went back and watched clips from like the old ones, Raise of the Lost Ark, all that stuff. He's almost spot on. Like, I'm surprised. I can't remember if they announced that I think they announced that he was playing before the trailer came out.
No, they did not.
Oh, they didn't?
People sussed it out.
So people did suss it out?
And I think he said, yeah, it's me.
Yeah. And I think he sounds great. So I'm super excited for Indy. I think that's going to be an awesome game.
I think I already talked about this one, but it was at the Xbox Showcase. This isn't wrong. Mecha Break got a reveal trailer, multiplayer mech shooter, 6v6, 3v3, 60-player PvE/PvP modes. Closed beta in August, release window 2025 on PC and Xbox. Wu Chang Fallen Feather, another one of those fucking Japanese games that we all think look the same. Maybe it's not a we thing. Maybe it's just a me thing. Mm-hmm. This is a Souls-like action RPG. In the dark late Ming Dynasty, you are Wu Chang, a pirate warrior struck by amnesia and afflicted with ornithopy, a horrific disease, but the source of immense power. Release window 2025 on Xbox, Game Pass, and PC. Avowed story trailer from Obsidian. Yeah, pretty much. It is not a really... I mean, there's some gameplay in there, but it's mostly like, cinematic shot kind of things while they're talking about the story.
Right.
We got confirmed that we are getting a third-person camera.
Yes.
They talked about how they improved combat animations from the last trailer. We have a party camp where you can talk to companions, upgrade gear, move items between you and your party stash. There's a respec that's confirmed. They're talking about if you're under-leveled, enemies will take a lot longer to kill and seem less stronger. Weapons will get new animations as you upgrade them and new sound effects. Dialogue trees with skill checks tied to specific attributes. Companions can banter with each other in addition to the player. The game is in the polish phase, feeling very good about a 2024 release, which is the release window. We've talked about Avowed a few different times here on the Delco Under Network podcast, and I'm very excited for it. I think this is going to be a pretty cool outing for Obsidian.
I hope so, man. I feel like this one has taken a lot longer than I necessarily would have expected. I think it looks great. I think it looks different, especially from like your Elder Scrolls and stuff like that. They seem to be putting their own spin on the fantastical, which I love to see. They did it with the Outer Worlds when it came to science fiction. So yeah, I'm excited. I would hope that it is out this year. I hope there's more exploration in the way of like going back to the Outer Worlds. There just aren't dungeons the same way there are in like, Fallout and New Vegas. And again, they're not trying to make these games again, but like I would like to see more of that kind of come back and some more exploration in that regard. But yeah, I'm excited. Definitely excited.
We're almost done here, folks. Stick with us. We appreciate you watching.
Yeah.
Adam Fall
My
reveal.
butt's falling off.
Trio's butt's gone.
Yeah.
Adam Fall reveal trailer from Rebellion, the developers of Sniper Elite and Zombie Army.
Really? I'm sorry, the developers caught me off guard. Wow.
Yeah. Inspired by a real-world nuclear disaster that occurred in northern England in 1957, the game follows a fictional storyline where you find yourself in the quarantine zone 5 years after the event. First-person horror, release window of 2025 on Game Pass, Xbox, and PC.
Looks great.
Yeah,
I think it looks very cool.
My dad is a big Sniper Elite fan. I've never played Zombie Army, but yeah.
I played Sniper Elite.
It's a pretty different bag from Rebellion.
I was going to say, it feels different for them. That's cool stuff. I'm excited.
Yeah.
I keep seeing some people say British Fallout and some. I was like, sorta.
Sorta.
Yeah, but it looks a little bit more like Bioshock-y than Fallout-y. Yeah, exactly.
We're going to say this for Ubisoft, but Assassin's Creed got a first look trailer, and they told us we would see more at the Ubisoft thing, so that's what we're going to do. We're going to talk about it there. Right. Stalker 2, Heart of Chernobyl gameplay trailer. It was mostly dialogue and combat. We got to hear the Ukrainian voiceover for the first time. September 5th, 2024 on Game Pass, Xbox, and PC.
Thank God we heard the Ukrainian voiceover. I don't know what
I think a lot of people are going to be playing it in Ukrainian is why they... Because that's the vibe.
I know. Yeah.
This isn't a political statement, Trio.
It very much is.
Go support Ukraine, guys.
It is very much. And that's fine. You can. I don't mean that in a bad way. But that's why they're focusing in so much on that. That's 1,010% why. It's okay. It's fine. But
I'm just happy they're gonna hit this September 5th date.
And the game looks fantastic.
Yeah,
it does. I think it looks amazing.
We saw a lot of combat with people, which I don't think we've seen enough.
That is cool.
It was a ton of combat. We got our one more thing, and it's a big one more thing. But before we got that, we got 3 new Xbox consoles coming. We have the Xbox X Special Edition. Sorry, the Xbox Series X Special Edition, which is $600 and has a 2 terabyte SSD in it, and is in an exclusive Galaxy Black. So this is like a limited edition console.
Right.
Then we have the Xbox Series X All Digital, which is $499.99.
Does the special edition
$44.99.99?
My apologies. Does the special edition have a disc drive?
Yes.
Okay.
This has a 1 terabyte storage and is white. The new Series X. Sorry. My God.
Series S. The naming convention's terrible. I'm sorry.
Yeah, especially reading this shit off as fast as I am. The new Series S is $34.99.99 with a 1 terabyte SSD and is a new color called Robot White, I think. I'm like, isn't the Series S white?
Yes.
So maybe,
I think you can get it in black though too. I might be wrong.
I think you're right. But anyway, it said Robot White.
I did love it when what's her name? I forget her name.
Sarah Bond
comes out. And you probably saw this joke. Everyone was making it. We here at Xbox, we're committed. We are committed to game preservation. By the way, here is our all digital consoles that are coming out within this year. I don't know. Just come on, guys. What are we doing?
Yeah, these are coming out in the holiday of this year. Pre-order details will come later.
Love it.
Pregnant pause.
Yeah.
Sarah Bond. One more thing. We get our first look at Gears of War E-Day. When I tell you, I cried in a car with Casey and Connor Wellman, friends of the show. I'm watching this presentation in the car on the way home from South Carolina. And I'm like, oh my God. We're fucking back, baby. Gears of War E-Day reveal trailer. Prequel set 14 years before Gears of War 1 at the start of the Locust invasion of Sarah on the titular Emergence Day. Not a spin-off, but a new entry in the mainline Gears of War saga. The Coalition is content with the stories told in Gears 4 and 5 and isn't abandoning them, but making this game as an opportunity that felt too good to miss. Team is looking to recreate and improve on the series' classic cover shooting and revisiting a tone of older Gears with truly next-gen tech. Very intentional in recasting the Locusts not simply as foes, but as living nightmares, just like Gears of War 1, military horror shooter. I remember that was the genre that Gears was categorized in. That was like pretty cool.
Interesting.
Design team prioritized redefining the Locust drone, which had become simple fodder as the series progressed, into something fearsome, physically intimidating, and utterly brutal. The fear of encountering the Locust for the first time is central to the game. Desperation as Marcus fights the Locust drone for the first time in his trailer and gets his iconic scar on his...
Oh, I missed that.
He's
That's
21
cool.
in this game. That's crazy.
Babyface Marcus.
Yeah, like, and Dom, too.
And he definitely looks like they definitely did a good job of making him look like his son. Like, people put up...
JD?
Yeah.
You can see JD
They
in
definitely did a good job of making him look younger, but also very much similar to JD.
Yeah. So we're going to be seeing the hints of the origin of the Chainsaw Lancer. You know, it sounds like we're going to be using the Retro Lancer for most of the game. The narrative follows the early stages of Marcus and Dom's brotherhood, bonding over the loss of Dom's older brother Carlos, who was close with Marcus in the Asphalt Field book. I read this book in middle school.
Interesting.
And it is about the Battle of Asphalt Fields, which is a battle within the Pendulum Wars, where again, Marcus meets Carlos Santiago, who's Dom's brother.
Right.
There's over 100 times more environment and character details in Gears 5, which is in Unreal than Gears 5. This is also in Unreal 5. Hardware, ray trace lighting, reflections, shadows, next generation, destruction, gore, and cutting edge animation technology.
I don't care. That stuff, I will say, this looks great.
Care, Trio, care.
I'm excited for this, and this is
cared
probably
when Marcus was falling through that building, and fucking Dom grabs his arm, and you hear the Mad World.
It's like so light too. It's so
dude. I was like, oh my god.
I just hate.
I'm so ready.
I hate statements like this of like over 100 times more the graphical fidelity. Blah, blah, blah. Shut up. Okay, it's gonna look good. We know that. I like the more when they're talking about the tonally, how they're more aiming towards the horror stuff, and like that's what really resonates with me. And that trailer, man.
That was scary.
I don't
watching
think
Marcus get pulverized by a drone for the first time.
I don't think we've had such a cool cinematic trailer maybe since like AC2 or like AC3. I'm not kidding. Like that really.
That's a hot take. I like it. I like it.
That genuinely like got my gears. Pardon my joke. Turning. Like seriously, it was so good when he drops and he I kind of hate that they almost have to like lay all this stuff out, and you have to, it's the corporate marketing speak, because like the entire trailer portrayed everything of what you just said in such a good and like wholesale way. Like the way he's being overpowered by the Locust, he's scary as fuck looking. He does get thrown around a few times, which always annoys me in a movie and a show when the bad guy just throws
the
thing.
Locust drones are like inhuman. Like,
no,
do that.
Not because they can't throw them, but because it's like, why wouldn't you just stab them? Like, you know what I mean? Like, stop just throwing people away. But that's an incredibly minor gripe, and that's just like a thing that I hate about a lot of things. But it was so good. I really did love it. I can't wait to see what happens.
I've been thinking about this trailer nonstop.
And I know E-Day was already a thing, but like, that was so perfect. It's just like E-Day, D-Day. Come on,
Oh yeah,
obviously that's the parallel.
The naming convention
is so
sure.
perfect. Yeah.
So the reason I like got teared up is I think because like Dom and Marcus's like camaraderie is probably one of the strongest. Like
when Dom dies, dude.
Duo,
yeah.
and you know where it's going.
Right.
So here's my thought. We all kind of we were all wondering what the Coalition, when they were going to announce Gear 6, right? And we knew about this Marcus Phoenix collection, which I think is still coming. Here's my theory. We're going to get the prequel, and whatever happens in this game is going to tie into Gear 6.
That makes sense to me.
They're going to tell some sort of narrative that is going to be integral to Marcus in Gear 6.
So we get a full I forget it, but do we get a full explanation as to where the Locusts come from in 3?
In 5.
In 5 you do? Okay,
Yeah.
That's right. Because in 4 and 5, the Locusts are back, but they are the
Swarm.
Right, but that's like an evolved version of the Locust, right? Is the idea, if I remember correctly?
Yeah. Or like a...
It's funny, I don't remember that game very well.
Yeah.
I enjoyed Gears 5 too. I know a lot of people kind of
Gears
crap on
5
it,
is
but
best
like,
Gears.
Yeah, I enjoy that game
You
a
can
lot.
fucking fight me about that. I'll
3 is
take
my
it to
favorite by
fucking
far.
curb.
I just can't, cutting through those hearts, the big worm. I'll never forget that.
That's
like
2.
Well, then 2.
Anyway.
Is that really 2? Wow.
Yes.
That's
yeah,
funny.
it's like the second or third act.
Interesting.
Yeah. It's all right, though.
No.
So we're going to get this game. And I don't think it's going to have Horde. I don't think it's going to have multiplayer. I think they're going to... I
thought they said something specifically about Horde. Sorry.
Look it up while I'm talking.
going to, yeah.
But let me finish this.
I apologize.
So they're going to make Gears E-Day, and it's going to be like a 20 to 40 hour... No, I'm going to say 20 to 30 hour linear classic Gears game with a focus on the narrative. They're not going to put all their eggs in one basket in this because they're making it because they want to get back to the series core and tell a specific narrative that's going to tie back into Gears 6. I don't know if that's going to have to deal with the possible fallout of killing Del or JD and what Marcus is going to have to go through, seeing him, meet his best friend and the guy who saves his life. Right. We're going to get that. We're going to get all those juicy bits. Then, after this game comes out, the Marcus Phoenix Collection will launch. Ultimate Edition will be re-released alongside remasters of Gears 2, and 3. We're going to get that. Then, after that, Gears 6 will come out and we'll end Gears of War. And we'll have this full collection of games. Maybe Judgment will be on there too, but I kind of highly doubt it. But I really think this is a calculated move. And they're really trying to wrap Gears 6 up with a fucking bow. And they're going to, they want everyone to go back and play 1 and 2 and 3 and play E-Day and get the full Gears of War experience, go on Marcus Phoenix's story, and then play 4 and 5 again and get to 6 and see this whole story culminate once and for all.
Now the real question, Gooch. Will Ice-T create a new soundtrack for
that was
Gears
a Cliff thing? I don't think so. Trio, I'm
body parts on the floor, Gears of War. What is that? I can't hear it.
Oh, I can hear it in my head.
It's almost like
bashing with my Nasha.
It's almost like Spider Blood. It just exists for there and there. That's funny though. I'm genuinely excited.
So I didn't see anything that they were doing multiplayer.
I can't see it on there.
I
either.
hope they don't.
I would like to see a Horde mode, maybe. I think that you could do that. That right now.
Save it for Gears 6 because I feel like if you just, again, I think if this game is a tight story game, I think that'll be awesome.
I mean, dude, I'd take that in a minute.
I don't think they need to blow their load by making this game full of content besides the narrative stuff.
Right.
Save it for Gears 6 where that game will be probably a living, breathing, more games as a service multiplayer game that people will stick around on. I think E-Day is you're going to go in and get out and play it for 20, 30 hours, and it's going to make you cry.
And they said there's no open worlds. It's all linear, right?
Yeah,
I like that.
Yeah, it's linear.
Very much in the vein of the first one. I started replaying Super, and I actually have been going through the first one just randomly when he's over. Yeah, just playing co-op, which has been actually a lot of fun.
Ultimate Edition, or
okay. I'm excited, man. Very excited.
Yeah, dude.
Can't wait.
I think this was my. Weirdly enough, Astrobot and this were my
big ones.
My two. I've just been thinking about it over and over again with Gears, and I'm just and I'm reading Cliff Bleszinski's book, and I'm getting to the Gears part.
Has he commented on it yet?
Yeah, he's this is in good hands.
Oh,
they talked to him about it.
Oh, they did actually?
He wouldn't have said that. I feel like he's been making tweets guys, talk to me. And I think they should. I mean, Cliff Bleszinski created Gears of War, 100%. I feel like he identified something that really worked and something that wasn't being done within military first person or third person shooters.
I absolutely think that. I do just think it's a little hey, come, I'm right here. Why don't you come talk to me?
Dude,
I don't know. It does feel
his book has been very interesting to read. I'll talk about that more probably when I'm done.
What's it called?
Something Control game.
But I guess you could look up Cliff Bleszinski book probably.
Yeah, it's good.
Cool. I think overall though, man, I assume you're going to
Control Freak.
Control Freak, gotcha. I think it's a great showing games-wise. This is what I was bitching last time on our podcast. It's only half of the equation, but it's great to see. We got a lot of interesting stuff. We still don't have, concrete release dates on a few good ones of them, which I would like to see change, especially Avowed. I don't know why. Just Avowed feels
I can
right?
I can get
it just feels like it's been a bit too out in the ether for too long. But yeah, I don't know. You know what game I'm really waiting to hear the next from? And it's not an Xbox One, and this is a random tangent, and I'll come right back. But is the Bond game? Can I see some of that, please?
True.
What's going on? But yeah, I think overall, man, they knocked it out of the park. One of the best showings in a while.
All right, we got 2, 3 more big things, but let's get through UbiSoft Forward real quick because we're getting tie.
Yeah, I gotta get home soon too. So
June 10th was the UbiSoft Forward from 2024. We got 10 minutes of Star Wars Outlaws from Massive. Yeah, looks good.
It looks almost too good to be true.
Yeah,
genuinely.
I wasn't sure how I felt about the scoundrel protagonist. I'm just like, here we go. We got like a Han Solo character. Great.
We got our Jedi game, so I'm fine. I guess
I was kind of digging her the more I was seeing her. We really haven't seen much of her though. I like her little pet thing.
I do too.
He was cute.
The HUD looks awesome.
But it looks good.
It does.
I have to admit. And the fact that it's like 30 hours and not this like big sprawling open world thing looks like even smaller than fucking Jedi Survivor. Like in terms of open world. Like that's an open world game.
No, I think this is much more. It looks way more open to me than like a Jedi. At least that's what it came off as to me. And I think like Jedi is only 22 hours-ish.
Really?
I don't think it's that long. Let me see here.
Did I read that it was like a 30-hour game, did I not?
Maybe it is. I don't remember. Jedi Survivor, how long to...
Let me actually look in our Discord, because I think I posted it.
So main story averages 20 hours.
For what?
For Jedi Survivor.
I'm talking about Outlaws.
Oh, Outlaws. It said 40. It said 30 to 40 hours main story, and then to like 60ish if you do everything.
Yeah, I mean it's coming out real soon.
That's a wild release date. I didn't realize that.
Me and Ian were talking about it when we were away last week. Shout out Ian Fitzgerald, friend of the show.
Absolutely.
Yeah, we were talking about it, and we're just like, he's like, I don't think it looks good, but I'm getting it. I'm like, I'm right there with you, man. I
just don't think how you can think it doesn't look
now
good.
I think it looks good.
I see what you're saying.
This is before.
Yeah, right.
But like that gameplay trailer really sold me.
I mean, her getting onto her ship, flying out into space, having full-on space combat, and then you go over to Tatooine. Like, again, it's going to be a lot more reined in certain respects, but it looks awesome.
Right.
It really does, man. And I like the idea of having your own ship. Listen, we got our Jedi experience. I'm so ready for the Scoundrel experience. Absolutely. You know what I want next? A fucking Sith game. Make that Darth Maul game. Bring it back. Do it. I don't care. I think you can make that really
Sam
cool.
Witwer?
I don't know if he... Yeah, sure, you could. Definitely. I don't
Ray
think he was supposed to do
mocap?
Absolutely. 100%. And make that a stealth game. Make it a little Dishonored-y. I don't know.
Would
I think
it be
you could do
like
something cool.
Pre-episode 1 Maul?
Yeah, that's what I think it was. So I think it was...
No, I'm just telling you what you want to do.
Oh, yeah. I think that's what I'd want to see. Okay. Yeah. Like maybe when he gets recruited
cool.
by Palpatine or something. But I think this looks fantastic. The HUD is... I think the menus look really cool. Like they look super Star Wars.
I gotta look
very
at it again.
different.
It didn't really pop to me.
They definitely looked out there and interesting to me. Again, it looks a bit almost too good to be true in some respects to me. I think it looks awesome. I like the vehicles. I love the idea of having your own ship. Like you said, the little animal companion's cute as fuck, and I think it looks like it could be a cool kind of gameplay mechanic. There seems to be a lot of stealth possible involved too, which is nice. So that whole scene of her kind of trying to infiltrate Jabba's palace and stuff like that, like, I'm in, man. 100% I'm in. Yeah.
Let's blow through some.
Yeah.
X Defiant Season 1 trailer, July 1st, 2024. Skull and Bones Season 2 and 3. It's got a 5v5 game mode coming. I totally didn't put this in here because, again, I found a write-up that didn't have everything, and I was kind of pissed off. For Honor, getting, like, on, like, season, like, 72,000.
Make us... Talk to
Trio
Ubisoft.
was the For Honor guy. That's why I'm bringing it up.
I was. And I was until they changed the Valkyrie. And they, like, nerfed it, and I hate playing it now. It is wild how long that game has lasted. I would really love to see them do a Jedi game. Like a lightsaber game. Just do it.
They were doing. They were selling 35. They were celebrating 35 years of Prince of Persia. We're getting free content to the Lost Crown, the game that came out recently, and the Mask of Darkness story DLC that's coming in September 2024. The Rogue Prince Persia Temple Fire update is out now. That's a mobile game, and of course, the Sands of Time remake that we know nothing about and has been in development hell and is coming out in 2026.
Have we even heard any? Like, have we heard that it's like in turmoil or anything? Like, or is it just that we haven't heard anything?
Yeah, no, there were reports that
it was like going through development shit.
Yeah,
interesting.
I just don't understand where they get the balls to announce a game for 2026 right now. You know?
If this was the first time...
And it was just like the dagger sitting there, 2026.
If this was the first time we were hearing about it, that's one thing.
Right. This is the second
time it was announced 4 years ago. What's happening? Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Avatar Frontiers of Pandora, the Skybreaker story pack is coming out on July 16th, 2024.
I actually want to get this game at some point when it's like $20 or $30.
Okay.
Because it looks like pretty
again,
cool.
Not a fan of Avatar, so I just don't care.
That's why I would never pay a full price for this in a million years. But like, it looks cool. It does.
The Crew Motorfest is getting year 2 updates in November. Anno 117 Pax Romana reveal trailer. We got that. And we got a big, chunky 13 minutes of Assassin's Creed Shadows gameplay to end the Ubisoft Forward. Trio, what do you think?
Half of it I thought looked fine and looked very Ghost of Tsushima, which, you know, I get people are making that comparison, and I think it's completely fair, but let's be fair the first way, where Ghost of Tsushima was obviously inspired by Assassin's Creed. So we can take that and leave that where it is. The ninja stuff looks so cool to me. They're really leaning into the stealth. You can like blow out candles, shadows make a difference as to how people can see you. You can go prone. You can go underwater, and she uses like an air stick to like stay underwater for that type of stuff. The parkour seems much more in depth. They're doing a lot of new animations when it comes to like fighting and parkour, which is nice to see. It's not just kind of reused stuff. Yeah, I'm in. I'm 1,000% in. I'll definitely check this out.
I don't know why. Why do you think Assassin's Creed keeps doing the 2 protagonist thing? Like over.
I think in the last
again.
one, in the last 2, it was just so you could play as whichever gender you prefer.
Sure.
In this one, it makes a bit more sense to me in the way of you have this samurai character versus the stealth character, and even Evie and Jacob were kind of like that.
Yeah.
In what's it called? So.
Yeah. Syndicate.
It's Syndicate. So I think it's partly that. I think it's a bit choice driven. I would love to see them just make the fucking choice and just choose one. But I don't know. I think it also comes down to this thing of like people want it both ways, and when it comes to action and stealth, and more people I think want it the action way than the stealth way. But I'm appreciative that they seem to be very much leaning into those elements. And very almost Splinter Cell-like elements when it comes to their stealth.
Yeah, so what's our black friend called?
Yuzuke?
Yuzuke?
I believe so.
I was not vibing with... That sounds horrible. I was not vibing with him at all in terms of gameplay. I was just like, this is exactly what I don't want from Assassin's Creed.
But like, what do you want out of the fighting? You know?
To not be that.
But like, what, you want it to be like old style where it was just parry and kill?
Kinda.
Like, I don't want that. It's so...
Like, I didn't like it in... Like, not that Mirage was like this.
Right.
But Mirage was just like, yeah, I'm just like, okay, like, you counter and stuff, but I'm like, yeah. You know, like...
I just don't know how else you make the combat.
I think
That's like,
I think I'm looking for this, like, style over substance kind of thing. That I think, like, Assassin's Creed has really just gotten away from. That I think... Neo?
Yeah, I believe.
I think Neo has. And I'm just kind of like... I wish I was just playing as her. I do think it is interesting that like Assassin's Creed does have another Japanese female assassin, and they're doing that again in Xiao Jun.
Sure,
I know she was
first time in a game though.
She had her Chronicles game, and then she was in like Assassin's Creed Embers, where the Ezio dies. She's in that, and she has her foot hidden blade. So we're probably gonna get more. We're gonna get more of that in this.
Yeah, I mean,
I assume Xiao Jun will probably be mentioned since this is after that. That would seem to make sense, but yeah, man. I don't know.
It's fair. I think at this point you're pretty checked out on the series as a whole. Is that fair to say?
Absolutely.
So like, and I guess I'm at this point where,
what do you think?
I'm just curious to see what they're gonna do when it comes to gameplay and story. It's definitely I'm in there more for the gameplay though.
What is Mirage's protagonist? What's his name?
Bayek. No, Basm. Sorry.
So is Basm like in the Animus with this?
We don't know.
I love how they just like don't show us that anymore. They like it's such a when you get the game you'll
figure it out, yeah.
kind of thing. It's like not even on display at all. I assume that's probably what it is. I do remember when I was playing Modern Warfare 2, and I remember having the first time we had the conversation of what do you want to see the next Assassin's Creed 3 go? and I was talking to somebody. I don't know who it was, but it was with my like friend group, and it was like, dude, I would love to see like Japan.
Yeah.
So this setting has been asked for a very long time, and like after I heard that, it was just like something that like was just always present.
Right.
I feel
It's definitely a major one you hear a lot.
Yeah, like again, Trio's right. I'm checked out on AC. I like try to be interested or like see something I'm interested in, but at the end of the day, I'm just kind of like, yeah, I'm out.
Yeah, I think if this wasn't leaning so heavily into the stealth aspect of things, I wouldn't be nearly as interested, to be honest. So that's definitely a bit.
Yeah, I just don't understand. Like again, like why are we doing 2 protagonists? It just seems such like an interesting move. Like you know, like besides Mirage, like every Assassin's Creed game since Origins.
Well, they've had 2 protagonists. This is the first one since Syndicate where you can play as both of them at the same time.
Right.
Whereas in Odyssey and Valhalla, you choose which one you play as, and the other one becomes like in Valhalla not so much, but in Odyssey, your opposite gender becomes like part of the story.
Yes, I know.
Your brother. So yes. But yeah, so I don't know. It is interesting. I'm curious as to that.
I'm curious to see how it does. I mean, they seem to not be missing in terms of sales.
Yeah. They always sell well. So
how did Mirage sell?
I don't know.
We never heard anything about that because we always heard that Odyssey and Valhalla were doing really well, but I don't think we heard anything about Mirage. Or you know, I feel like I would like have like ingrain that in my head if it like had sold really well, you know.
So AC Mirage is the biggest current gen Ubisoft launch in terms of sales. So apparently pretty good. Yeah. It was like best selling game in the country for a while, and so yeah, I think it did pretty well. And again, mechanically, that game did get back to the original AC. But sorry, we can move on now. It did mechanically. It absolutely did. That's not even arguable.
In a way,
we'll leave it at that. Anyways.
Go watch our review.
Yeah.
One last thing, we got 20 minutes of Dragon Age, the Veilguard gameplay, and I am super excited for what we saw here. It's a very early game, and you can kind of even tell it really seems like maybe like
almost the first
mission.
Hour or two. Yeah.
Yeah. Rook and Varric are looking for Neve Gallus, and they're trying to stop Solus from Dragon Age Inquisition. We're in Minrathros in the Tevinter Imperium. They intro us on having like an origin again. Like each character has like a background, which again, going back to Dragon Age Origins, where every character had an origin.
Right.
And they showed that like when they showed that text, there was also like customized character. So obviously we're gonna have character customization, but like Dragon Age 2 had like a default like they did for Shepard with Hawk. So maybe we're doing something similar to that here. I don't necessarily know.
Makes sense.
We see Scout Harding come back. The Venatori are returning. It's much more action combat. We find Neve Gallus. We see her. We go to the Arlethan Forest. Solus is conducting a ritual to remove the veil to kind of bring back the good old days of his time as an elf. Or as an ancient elf, I should say. Varric tries to talk to Solus, and the ritual is interrupted, and that's kind of sort of where our trailer ends. So the reason they changed the name, they said, was the idea was like Solus is a part of the game, but I think there's like a bigger bad, which is kind of what they did in Inquisition with Solus and Corypheus. So I'm kind of interested to see what they do there. We saw a lot of gameplay. It's mostly gameplay, and I dug what I saw. Inquisition kind of does this really nice balance between the tactical RPG and the action RPG. Dragon Age 1 being very tactical RPG, Dragon Age 2 being very action, Inquisition kind of marrying that too. We only see, for the most part, action gameplay. We see a bit of like our weapon, not a weapon wheel, our skill wheel and stuff like that. And I know there's been some more information coming out about this, but Trio, you've only played Inquisition. You didn't finish it. It's always been this game. You sort of.
I feel like I should yeah.
Right. So what did you think of Veilguard?
I think it looks fine. I will admit it didn't blow me away at all. I think graphically it looked a little old. If I'm gonna be honest.
I wouldn't debate you there.
Yeah, I don't know. Like skin textures wise, like everyone felt super smooth, and what's his name's beard just
Varric.
Yeah, it didn't look very good. I don't know. It was something about it that felt. I hate saying Fortnite-y, but like a bit like somewhat ranging towards that.
So that companion trailer that we got shown at the Xbox showcase, that looked like that. But I think when it came down to the actual game, it looked exactly like what
I think everyone just looks too smooth. I like genuinely. I think I'm so used to seeing the fucking pores on everyone's skin and the bead of sweat going down their brow and like. I don't know. It did feel like it didn't look bad at all. It just didn't look like, I guess, what I was maybe expecting, like graphics wise. And I think it's a choice. I don't think it's because they are like necessarily old graphics or like shitty like engine or anything like that. I think it's an aesthetic choice, which I don't necessarily know if I agree with. But overall, the combat looked somewhat interesting. There was a leak a while back that were like they were saying they were going for a more God of War-y type of combat.
Yeah,
style
this was like a real hard alpha like leak, like really early.
And I definitely feel like I see that in this, even with like the saturation of colors and the magic in it. And again, Dragon Age came first, and I'm sure a lot of that stuff already existed within that. But like just the tone of everything, even the color palette, like color tone, I should say, reminded me of that a lot, and even kind of some of the fantasy elements. So. I'm excited. I really hope that BioWare can hit this out of the park and give us a really fantastic RPG again.
Because God knows they need it, for sure.
And I mean, I feel like really the only one post Mass Effect that's been very good. Like, obviously, the Dragon Age games have been somewhat strong. But, like, I mean, I wouldn't even say somewhat. Inquisition, I think, won Game of the Year that year it came out.
Yeah, it did.
So, that's good. But beyond that, it just feels like they've been swinging and missing hard. And, like, I don't know what pulls them out of it. I think this can, if it is very good, but we'll see.
I've always preferred Dragon Age over Mass Effect. I think it's, in terms of lore and story, I feel like Dragon Age is a much tighter, better experience. I love Dragon Age's lore. I love the characters. I love the world. So I'm really invested in, like, everything going on between Solus and Varric and even, like, seeing Scoutmaster Harding come back. From Inquisition, even though she was like a hugely minor character in that game, I'm like, fuck yeah. So I'm really invested from a narrative perspective.
That's another thing for me. I don't have that same.
I'm
linkage.
excited to see where this goes, and like who comes back, because that's one thing about Dragon Age and Mass Effect. I feel like all their characters always like come forward, and I want to see like the Warden, that your character from Dragon Age Origins, come back, and Hawk come back if they're alive. And the Inquisitor from Inquisition come back, and like all these, like everyone, just bring everyone back.
Bring back.
Like I'm just so attached to like all those characters and the lore, and I feel like the conflict that has been like brewing since Origins of like all this stuff, it just feels like very interconnected, very real.
Absolutely.
I'm excited.
I'm glad you are.
Am I
honestly.
a bit nervous about the gameplay, not seeing the tactical side of it? Yeah, I hope we have like that Inquisition. You can go action, or you can go tactical, or you can do a little bit of both. Like I like that sort of like leaving it up to player to.
That feels like something they would show off a little bit more, like heavily, right at the beginning, like because they seem to. I guess unless you don't want to scare anyone off, you want people to know like this.
This was the first time we saw the game.
Yeah,
like. During Summer Games Fest, like we've been teased about it and they talked about it. Remember they released a trailer that's saying we were going to talk about stuff now, and you were like critical of that. But yeah, sorry, the fan turned off and it kind of
okay.
I think I pressed the button in my pocket, right. But yeah, dude, I'm just ready. I'm so ready for this. I think it's going to be an excellent fucking game. I have a lot of hope. I have a lot of hope in the IP. I have hope in BioWare, but I think the IP is super strong. Like I don't think Mass Effect. I know we got a new Mass Effect like coming out, but I don't think Mass Effect as an IP is in the greatest state, because they fucked up with Mass Effect 3 in the ending, and then Andromeda fucked it up even more. They're kind of like not in a great state. That's never happened with Dragon Age. That Dragon Age was in like I
think Mass Effect
state.
1 through 3 is looked on very fondly. I know like people have their problem with 3, but I think overall like that series is seen as an absolute win. compared to like when you go into Andromeda. Like, I mean, especially me going back,
I think 3 is stained a lot. Maybe you're forgetting.
Well, it was so funny. Like I remember when I played it in the last 2 years.
Indoctrination theory.
Well, and I was like, no, I don't know why people got so annoyed at this. I think this actually makes sense. I just went with this, and then you just went through the whole like cabal of indoctrination theory and all the bullshit, and I was like, you know what? I actually don't like this. God damn it! I just want to think what it is.
Like, actually, I'm out.
Yeah. And because of that, I'm out.
So that's it?
That's it, Gooch. Summer Games Fest 2024.
Here's my only critique. I think we need... I appreciated how Ubisoft did like a live show. We get a lot of these like pre-canned, directs, VODs, ready to go. Play the tape.
Right.
Have fun. I think doing the live show and the live gameplay demos kind of gives us like those moments that we like, the Keanu moment, or my body's ready with Reggie from like years ago. The moments that made like E3 famous. I think that kind of shit, like bringing that back a little bit, is what I would want to see or critique. Like Xbox do a live show.
Those are also like, I guess that just comes from having a live show. Like those just happen sometimes, you know. What
right,
I mean?
And I'm saying that's fun, but that doesn't happen when you play a video on a screen and like there's nothing going on. So that would be my only critique. Props to Ubisoft for doing that, and Geoff pretty much, even though there wasn't live gameplay stuff, which would be cool. But like we started at the top of the show, it seemed Summer Games Fest is solid this year. I think like a lot of people were finally bought in. E3's gone, Summer Game Fest is in. Let's do it.
I agree, Gooch. I don't really have anything else to say beyond that. I think it was a good one. I think we had a lot of great announcements. I'm excited for the year to come.
Now let's get the hell out of here and eat some dinner.
Yeah. Thank you all so much for watching with us live on twitch.tv/Delco Nerd Network. We really appreciate your time. You can find this podcast anywhere podcasts are found. Just search Delco Nerds on your favorite application of choice. We are on all the social medias as well, I should say, at Delco Nerds on basically everything with an @ sign. We have a Facebook page, Discord channel, all of which shall be linked down below. You can even email us your comments, questions, or concerns to delconerds@gmail.com. We'd be happy to respond for you. You can find all this information on our website, delconerdnetwork.com. But for Gooch, I've been Trio. Thanks for watching, guys. Stay nerdy, and we will see you next time.